probably be the first line then. So, another week, another session of D&D Rescue within Raxis. Last time, the heroes entered the swamp. That's where it ended as well. It's muddy, it's grimy, it feels horrible. And they're all having to travel with them. Malgern, Torevir.
What? What did I do? I did nothing of the sort.
Every one of you feels drenched, heavy, clammy, just dragged into the dirt. And then you decide to have fights. A flail snail perfectly minding its own business at a rate of knots. Many knots. Then there was the Ketubal passes, the plague cow creatures.
It was not my idea.
At the moment, Siegfried, Wolfgang, caked in mud. They went face down. You slaughtered the parent. The child ran off while being chased by an irate wizard and his ball of fire. And now it's a moment of quiet after the battle. A moment of, holy Jesus, it actually does smell worse when it's dead. As you all stand around the corpse of a Ketubal Pass. You are deep in the swamp right now. What do?
I still say we should go find ourselves a place to go take a nap.
Short rest.
Well,
yes,
just because I'm thinking...
I should point out a reminder of current surroundings. You can see stonework. Most of that just seems to be dilapidated old boundary walls from a different ploughed fields. But it is an indication that you're getting in closer to the village itself.
Well, I would say that we do have our one party member who happens to, need to take a sleep.
Yeah, I suggest we start going towards the, follow the ruins at least. Try and find some shelter. Anyone else have any things they want to say? Anything at all?
Sorry, Pufflesworth sounds like a chase, and now he's attacking range.
Was that another strength check?
Not yet. I'm pretty sure she can ace that one.
Well, I don't know. He just slapped me on the bottom.
Alright, what are you doing? There's a motion to find somewhere somewhat stable and rest.
I'm off. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's go, vamonos.
It's a good question. Where do you go?
We thinking south or southeast?
Well, where did the tracks lead from the last time?
You are far past the tracks now.
Is that a bridge, or is that just stone structure that I'm seeing there?
It's a bridge on the map graphics, but for now it's just a line in the dirt.
Okay.
Imagine there's no verticality to it.
Well, should we double back and find the trail, or should we head directly south?
Could we? I'm going to ask the question. We know there was undead round here. Is there any? Can we get the ranger to see if he senses them? I can give it a go.
You can.
He's
You
like
can give it a go.
confidently.
You're quite right.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot to
And
get the
I
sheets
try
out.
and find undead.
You sense 3 distinct signatures of undead. One you've already gotten familiar with. It is the Will of a Wisp. And where you are now, it's further down into the southeast. Quite a distance, though. Probably around a couple of 100 feet. Let's see here.
Okay.
Hang on. Gotta check this bit. Gotta measure discreetly. Yeah, about 150 feet to the south, you can also detect an undead. You're not entirely sure what it is, though. You haven't come across such a thing. And
Okay,
to
and the
the...
third?
And to the... Almost directly to the east, within about 100 feet, you can also feel another strange undead. They're all singular creatures, that much you can tell. So you gotta get my sheet ready.
Okay, I relay this highly useful information to the party.
And never
So
ends.
we're not quite safe.
Safe.
I don't think
Safe.
safe was ever a question here.
Well, I was hoping for safer than that.
We're in the middle of a swamp.
A cursed swamp at that.
Yeah. I still vote that we take the snail shell back to the cart and then just start over.
What's the
I think
time
we
of the
should-
day?
I mean, it's getting kind of hard to see just up there. There's still daylight, how much you can tell. But a lot of us getting lost in the fog. At a rough estimate, you'd probably say it's getting near sort of second lunch by halfling standards. Around about 3 or 4.
If we took the shell back to the cart, that's probably the entire trip done. Then we'd probably have to head back to town, spend the night in town, and then head back out here in the morning.
Well, we wouldn't have to go back to town. We could always just nap at the cart.
At
don't
the edge
think
of
we've
the
got-
cursed swamp.
I don't think we've got anywhere to sleep in town either.
Yeah. For some reason, we can't rent any rooms.
I mean, all of you can. It's just one. By extension, 2. And there are different establishments in town. You did see it's a nicely built place. There might be another hotel, or maybe
I
someone nice
believe-
for slaughtering the undead near them. Maybe they'll grant you a room for the night.
I believe going back to the cart with the shell would be a good idea.
Oh yeah, we have the big fuck off shell, don't we?
Big fuck off
Yeah,
away
it's-
shell.
And if we take that back, we don't risk losing it.
Well, also, I'm not exactly fond of having to navigate in the swamp in the dark.
Yes, that too.
We will have more daylight. Should we rest at this cart and then start off early next morning?
And then Siegfried can rest his foot.
What's the least of my problems?
There is the fact that he definitely thinks he saw his deity. And a few others who were just wincing as they looked at his spirit.
Okay, heading back to
So-
the cart. This camping at the cart seems like a good idea at this point.
Alright, so the party take the coward's option.
The smart option.
We are Sir Robin.
Bravely, Sir Robin. Alright, as you start to head back to the flail snail shell. Flail snail shell. It has sank about another inch or so into the muddy, into the moss-covered chunks of earth.
Okay, I'm going to do something rather stupid and totally mucky. I'm going to hollow out a flail shell, snail shell, to make it lighter to remove.
Alright, give me a simple survival check. Or a medicine if you want, one of those two. It wasn't a tough job anyway, it's a large amount of slimy, horrible, dead snail. Still bloated with fluids, but it's easy enough. You probably bring out the sharpened bone dagger and just carve away and start to pull, and it just comes away eventually. It takes a while because there's quite a lot of it in the shell, And by the end of it, you've got probably about 15 foot of dead slug. Just laying there,
Yep.
huge.
And I have a new home.
Well, it's not dry.
Look at you, Siegfried, homeowner.
That is
Too
the
bad
plan,
that
but
was
not on the...
so.
Well, once we dry it out, Pufflesworth could sleep in it.
I would see more Cornelius going along and putting some pillows in there to make him look all fancy.
It is sparkly
nice
enough
What
for a
kind
lizard's
of a
home.
home do you think I live in?
How
Apparently he thinks he's
expensive? How expensive
What do you
is a
think I'm a
cell
hedge
going to be?
wizard?
Yeah, well, anyway,
Times are tough. It might not be a bad
How-
idea for a Scent Summer home.
how expensive is this shell going to be? once we get
You
it
have
out?
no idea. None of you have ever tried to sell off or heard of anyone sell off a full flail snail shell. You
How
can,
about
you can
parts of
imagine
one?
just from the size of it. It's probably
Oh.
quite expensive.
Just judging by like small components, how much would a small component be?
Again, you've never come across flail snail material.
Nah.
And you've definitely got the opinion that you wouldn't be able to sell any of this in Volonkia. You might even have a hard time selling it in Neverwinter.
It's a lot of money, but we probably can't actually do anything with it at the moment.
Well, not at the moment, but later, because it can stay in the card.
But it's very
we
sparkly.
Or we find somebody to trade it in for some magical items or something that a wizard or something might want it.
Exactly.
Which means we should probably also invest in some tarp or something when we return to the city.
Don't we have
Possibly
a
Glittering
don't we
things
have a
that
cover
protect
over
the
the
city.
cart? Or
You
did we
do.
grab that? Oh, anyway, we first have to get the snail out of the swamp, or the shell anyway. What sort of checks do you want us to do, or whatever?
I need you to tell me what you're going to do, then I will give you the checks. You already have a route at least, although it was mainly a route for a line of people. But yeah, how are you going to get this out of the swamp?
Very carefully.
Well, I could always make another floating disc.
Floating
That-
disc is probably the best method.
Agreed.
It is.
Melkern can walk.
The shell weighs about 250
How long-
pounds.
It can carry 500
For
How long does the disc last for?
an hour.
I'll get you a fair chunk of a way, especially now that you know the way back. In a way.
And I have another spell slot ready, so I can cast it again.
Okay, so we lift the shell onto the disc and carefully wake our way back to make sure that we don't sink into the mud, and also watch out for leeches and white leeches type thing.
Racist. So yes, let's see here. Well, she set off the glowing disc, just buoying this shell up with no effort at all. Whereas
Oh, good. I just had a thought on that.
Do tell.
No, it's fine.
No.
Nothing about a shell that negates magic sitting on a magical disc.
Negates attacks on it. Besides, there might have been a bit of required essence from the actual snail itself. But yes, so it silently starts to float along behind the group. Once again led by natural lanterns. The kobold, I assume, in front, leading the way with his stick.
Yep.
And despite having travelled down this path before, it's still a fog-choked bog. It's still a horrible place, and the path is easily lost already to just lapping waters. Just seeping over any hole and gap and filling it in. Although, Not much of a problem as you go along, to be honest. Because you've already poked at most places, and thanks to being a kobold, you have these large, though still small, clawed feet that make a very, very distinct impression, different from just normal boots. So you're able to follow reasonably enough. But then you get to the hedgerow that you all sort of muscled your way through. And you stand before it.
Okay, I carefully poke my head out the other side to make sure I know where we are. Stealthily to make sure nothing's around of note.
That'll be a perception for checking anything. Yeah, you have a glance around. You can... It's very dense. Even though it's rotted and decayed, it's still tangled over with weed and vines. It seems pretty still, though. But then, all these creatures are still anyway. As you're standing there observing, though, you can hear far behind you, to the south, a horrendous scream. It doesn't sound anything humanoid. It is a deep, roaring yell of pain. But quite distant.
Okay, let's stay away from that.
I have a feeling I know what it is, and it's so stupid. Bulls do not care for cows after they've done their business. They couldn't care less.
Oh no, whatever the voice was, it was very loud. It came from something big. So yeah, as you saunter
Could it be
along...
also smelly and large and have a death gaze?
Oh no, it didn't sound anything like the noises you heard from the Catobal Pass.
Okay.
This was something capable of uttering syllables that were intelligible. There was form to the yell.
Oh,
You don't recognize what
good.
language, but it
Killed
was...
somebody's
It
cow.
definitely sounded like a language.
Wait, you mean a language that we can't understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't one of you speak it?
No,
God.
It's
Guys are
not drunk,
useless.
is it?
it's not. It's not drunk. But you can. But as the roar subsides, there's still a lot of yelling, and now from two voices.
okay.
So we're gonna leave that alone.
If anyone
We
wants to listen a
might
bit
have a
closer,
choice.
you can give me a perception.
We'd prefer to keep moving quickly.
Just giving you the options.
Yeah. Plan Sir Robin is still in effect.
All right. I'm going to need survival checks from all of you, but with advantage because you've crawled through here before.
Oh, it might help if I pull my sheet up.
Yeah, it might help if you pull your
Oh
sheet up.
boy.
Hey.
Oh, with advantage.
Oh,
okay.
thank goodness.
Thank God we had advantage, yeah.
What a shame. I think that just leaves the kobold.
No,
Oh, wait.
I'm up there. 22.
All right.
Yeah, he wasted all his good rolls on the advantage.
Holy crap, he actually did a ranger thing.
Hey! So yeah, the only one who walks out with anything extra, as you finally push past the hedgerow. Whoever's behind Gastalia is the one who noticed it first. Her tail. Slender, devilish, and there's just several large black slugs hanging, or black leeches hanging from it.
You don't know your blood, right?
There's
It's
four in
better
total.
to let
I'm
them
not,
finish.
I'm not sure I want to mention that. That looking at her behind, I see.
It's a tail, not a behind.
Droop do it.
He's away.
Yeah, no droop right now. He's safe.
Do it.
It's also black, so it doesn't matter.
It's actually healthier to just let them do
Racist.
their thing and then drop off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd just dump salt on them.
They're not slugs.
I mean, it
no,
works.
they'll
There's-
detach for salt or fire.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Salt isn't
Well,
good
I
on
learned
things that need to be
something today.
wet. And yeah, you march on through. Apart from that, the rest of you are soggy, leaf-strewn. There's just all kinds of filth and mud clinging to every bit of your gear. But you're making it through. And then over the next... It takes another casting of the disc, but... Within about 2 hours, 2.5, you make it outside of the swamp.
Everything takes so long.
It's just
So
slow
how's
going. You're
your-
having to march a couple of miles, knee deep in filth. Even when you're managing to get onto the moss covered ground, it's still sinking in. There's still moments when the kobold has to poke with a stick to check that it's not going to fall through. Because every time you step on it, it seems to be feeling weaker. But then you emerge into a twilight, into the end of the day hours. The cart is
You
there in
chose
front
a
of
good
you.
time to come back.
Yeah. The cart is there in front of you, as are all 3 horses.
Oh, excellent.
Hooray.
And what is the condition of the cart?
Now you're
The
asking
cart
the
is in
question.
perfect condition. It's obviously had a lot of
And the paint
prestidigitation
job?
used on it. For some reason, it smells like baked bread.
That's quite lovely.
Until we find out why it smells like baked bread.
Well, obviously, someone's been baking bread.
In a cart.
Well, they baked bread and then put it in the cart. I don't know.
He's a dwarf. Don't expect a lot of leaps of logic.
Then where would the bread come from?
Said so threateningly.
I was teleporting bread. No.
I go up to Droop and ask him the very important question. I hope you brought enough for everybody.
That's not a question. But yeah,
That's
I-
not the question.
you don't see him immediately, but when you step up and look inside, the inside is filthy. It is covered with soil. There's footprints of all kinds of boots and bare feet. There is one empty burlap sack, and there is Droop sitting there, sweating bullets. But he's sitting there with a small little cotton sack, and inside are a couple of loaves. And he just feebly waves, "Hi."
That explains the bread smell, but what explains the boot prints?
Where did the bread come from?
Probably the same place the boot prints came from.
Oh, well, I was sitting here, and then they're doing a harvest, so I thought I should help and be nice. So we made, like, a couple of trips. I was gonna do the inside, but I'm just a little tired right now. But look, we got food as a reward. A good thing, right?
That was remarkably impulsive of you, Droop.
Well, I figured if I was going back and forth to town, that I also wouldn't be here in case something came out nasty.
Well,
Well,
well done, Droop.
That
And,
is a
pat
big
him on
shell.
the head.
Yeah, as you're patting, he's just staring at the sparkly shell floating there. The eyes slowly widen, the ears going backwards. That is huge!
It is huge.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So, are we done?
Nope.
Okay.
We're taking a nap.
Oh, good.
I take a look for if anything is missing.
You left an empty cart with a big Minotaur's axe in it. Apparently none of the halfling farmers took that.
And
that
what
was
about
disappointing.
our unofficial pet?
Pufflesworth is still there.
can handle himself.
Oh, wait a minute. You took Pufflesworth in with you.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
just been
Oh, shit,
quiet
didn't-
and not been doing strength checks.
I mean, we did a
Yeah.
couple last session.
Yeah.
It's the only way we remember he exists.
It's just he knew they were going the correct direction, so he was happy enough to follow for now.
He was like, "Oh, goody to goodness."
Oh yes, by the time you get past the fog wall, the last of the leeches has dropped from Castalia's tail. And it doesn't really matter, but you took 2 points of damage for that.
Ow.
I mean, that's over a couple of hours they did that.
That's a slow DOT.
I mean, they're leeches. You're not gonna lose a lot of blood from just 1 or 2 of them.
It's a small department of transportation.
Well, at least they did as much damage as the wizard's spell.
Ah,
Yeah, we did as much damage as a first level spell. That's impressive.
funny. Right.
Well,
Okay. Do we risk making a campfire to cook on or anything?
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna be fine out here.
as you settle back and look around and notice hedgerows and fields. Pretty flat out here.
That'll be fine. We'll see anything that arrives.
I'm meaning more in the
Yeah,
fact
they-
that there's no trees.
Also, nothing that will, stop other people from seeing us.
Nothing to
More,
burn
I think
either,
he's
possibly.
needing more firewood.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
you could probably rummage around for some branches. Chance of getting scratched. But hedgerow doesn't go up as well as just dead tree.
No, it actually burns surprisingly well.
You do have a ranger with you as well. Someone gifted with nature. Not the animal side. Fucking dreadful on the
Say,
animal
yeah.
side.
The cleric's a better animal handler.
Give me a strength check.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Felt that coming.
Oh yeah, normal. Never mind.
Yeah. Should shut you up.
You rolled a 20. A natural 20.
Did I? No, I thought I rolled a 4.
No, that's
No,
Pufflesworth.
Pufflesworth.
No, it's Puffle. Okay.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I didn't even
Puffles-
look at the rolls, and
As
And you rolled high again. It's going to be a great session.
as Cornelius relaxes for a moment, lets the spell lower, and the shell sit there, Pufflesworth is curious. And he decides to take off in a sprint, seeing that you're not looking, dragging you behind him on the leash. And you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as he smacks you into the shell as he scrabbles up inside it. And there's this very hollow little chirp and trill from inside the shell. Before very
I
slowly
never-
starts plodding out, covered in slime,
Uh,
looking very displeased and pushing himself up against your shins.
Well, what did you do?
It's just,
got the slime all over your legs.
just a few little sad, like, chirps and barks.
Well, I didn't tell you to do that.
If you're trying to scold him, roll me an animal handling.
I'll be
There we go.
Yeah, he seems properly shamed. Possibly in the placebo effect style that we know with dogs, but he seems to be shamed.
Oh, well, can I go for a quick hunt and see if I can find any rabbit hair or quail or anything like that for...
Well, you find
food
rabbit hair easy
purposes?
enough. It's handfuls of it. It's not good for soup. But yeah, give me a survival. It's not a hearty meal, but you managed to bring back. But you've got 2 rabbits.
That should be enough for a part of a meal along with some bread.
You do better,
And
but
what
then
else
you
we got on
realize
hand?
you figure you would have done better, but then you realize it's a plowed field area, lots of crops that have to be protected. They've probably done a lot of scouring of the population.
Okay, they're ploughed as well on the same day. These halflings are good.
Well, no, it is plowed fields. You know what I mean? Like
I thought they just harvested.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They've still got the furrows and all. It's just that this is land that has been worked.
Okay. I would have thought birds would have been around in numbers then. Oh, they might.
Wow. Am I hearing dissent? Besides, you always have to dig soil. You have to keep the soil friable.
Oh, turn it off.
Okay, so it is rabbit for dinner. Can I find enough to make a small fire enough to cook a couple of rabbits?
Yeah, it's easy enough as you're snapping off twigs, branches, anything you can get for kindling and in the body of it. It's not a huge fire, but then it doesn't have to be, because you don't even need to buff up the kindling. You've got the ring.
Yep.
As long as you've got a fuel source, you can set up a fire. And it goes up pretty nicely. The smell's a bit different than the usual sort of branch work, but nothing too distinctive, just a bit odd. But on the bright side, it's a lot more pleasant than what you've been surrounded by for most of the day.
This is true. Shall we discuss watches for the night? I'm assuming we're going basically straight into rest after food.
I can do first watch.
Well, I mean, you can all have a discussion, check each other over, that sort of thing. Just do whatever you like, fill them at a time.
I begin to prestidigitate my clothes.
Oh, same here. Same here. I don't want to be all mucky.
Pufflesworth just looks up at you with his huge eyes, coated in
I will
slime.
do you too, even though you made yourself like that.
I just lean up against the cartwheel and close my eyes for a second. And then it's whatever time it is later.
Does anybody else want clean clothes?
I could do with some clean clothes.
All right, so I'll help him out too. Being very nice.
Dwarf caked in filth and
Thank you.
mud. Having leapt into it. Just standing
Does
there.
the dwarf want cleaned?
I'm clean.
You're in mud.
The first thing he did when combat came up was jump shoulder deep into water.
Yeah, water. Wash me off.
Swamp water.
Filled with maggots. Have you
Okay,
ever
take a truly small bit of the pipe weed and just have a small puff on the side.
It's nice to have a bit of fragrance again, a bit of flavour. It's all
Offer
very
it
soothing.
round if anyone's interested.
No, thank you.
No,
Actually,
don't touch this.
I'm going to ask a small question. The ring of spell storage.
Yep.
From what I read, it could hold either one 5-level spell or 5 1-level spells. So
And a mix of it,
could
yeah.
can we add some more spells to the ring?
Yeah,
just
it has to
before
be.
they
It has
start
to be the
resting?
ones. It has to be the same spell, though.
It does have to be the same. Okay.
Well, that's not so bad. That's 5 shields that's in it now. Then
It's only got 1 in there at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's only got one charge in it. So you could
So
add
if
to
somebody
it.
wants to load up the ring a bit more, it'd be much appreciated.
I don't have that spell.
unfortunately, I don't have any more first level first day.
Well, I mean, technically we can use whatever spell's in there and then put other stuff in it.
We can do that.
I asked Droop how his day's gone and whether he's managed to get anything to his wizard spellbook.
I managed to get 2 in.
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah.
What did you write? Come down here. Let me see.
All right. He chops down and shows you his book. Whereas yours are meticulous notes. Everything is carefully structured. You got bullet points. You got an action plan. His is it's kind of like the signature from a prescription, but across an entire page. It might be a language. It doesn't even look like goblin writing that you've seen, let alone common. But maybe it works for him.
Well done, Droop. So what did you scribe down?
Oh, well, I saw how useless sleep was, so I put that in. And I was looking at this and I was thinking, I could make a fog cloud. So I put that in.
Most excellent.
I mean, I think I did.
Sort of like the fog cloud in the swamp, isn't it?
I think it's just fog. I mean, I don't think I could be powerful enough to do something like that, like this.
Maybe
This is-
one day, Droop. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. Keep practicing.
Yeah, I should practice. I could show it off.
I don't think we need to see more fog today. Maybe later.
All right. Closes his book, hops up again.
Oh, I guess if someone is at some point to find the cart here, you could always obscure the camp area with the fog.
Oh yeah, that could work. Oh, but it drifts away. It only lasts about a minute, doesn't it?
That's about an hour.
Oh. Maybe my one's wrong then. I better change that. As he just flicks out a very large and amazingly looking peacock feather as he starts scribbling into his book, along with a pot of ink that you don't remember seeing around your estate.
I find it best not to question these things.
When did you get that, Droop?
Well, Cornelius bought it for me.
No, I didn't.
No, you bought me the book.
Oh, the book, yes.
Yeah. And he goes back to scribbling.
I was asking about the feather.
Oh, I found it. You know, you find feathers on birds. Don't worry about it.
There are no peacocks around here.
Is that what this is from?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very
Invitation,
large pigeon.
Nope, it's a peacock.
Cool.
Very good eating.
Ah, excellent. Shame it got away then, and just left his feather behind.
There are no peacocks here.
Okay.
You'd be surprised, the bloody pests.
I do have to agree there, but I don't think there's any in a swamp.
Freshly harvest fields, they'll be all over it looking for grains.
You're still bitter about that, huh? Well, they haven't sown them, but they've worked the land. They've dug. Don't question me. I'm from a rural background as well. I know my farms. And Drew continues scribbling. There's about 2 foot of this peacock feather wiggling above him.
Does nobody want to know where he got the feather?
Not really, no.
No.
I'm more worried that whoever owned the feather prior is going to be not happy.
What, a peacock? No, don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly didn't seem too worried when he acquired a certain stone.
Well, yeah, but I knew where he acquired that from. I just want to know who we might have pissed off.
It's just a pen in this case, so unless it's a magic pen, we won't have much to worry about.
Has anybody checked?
You're the one with
Hang
the
on,
spell.
what's everyone's passive perceptions? Does anyone have a 14 or higher?
15.
I've got 14.
I only got 13.
Alright,
pass.
those with 14 or higher can hear very distantly up north. If you had to go to bed with a half-orc, would you go front or back?
Why did you have to throw that rock away? It was so amusing. And I did hear the question.
Yep.
You can always go get it.
Oh, I'm not digging around for it. I don't care that much.
Either way, the answer of the peacock feather pen will reveal itself in time.
That sounds ominous.
I said nothing. Nothing at all.
But dear, we're hearing you through the wife's mic.
Yeah, that's intentional.
That's because his is on his head.
Well, that's why I have you as a backup. We just need to invest in a Blue Yeti and just put it right there.
Alright then, so you're all gonna bed down for the night?
Mm-hmm. Good night, guys. See you next week.
And watch number 1 then.
That'll be me and Pufflesworth.
And Pufflesworth.
Alright, give me a perception check. I will also give one for Pufflesworth.
Ba bum ba bum ba bum ba.
I assume you've learned your lesson or are patrolling the wagon now.
Yes. In between writing in the book to chronicle our lovely adventures.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Oh yes.
Because you can actually edit the journal now and put text in it.
Oh yes, I will.
But yeah, as you're stepping around Pufflesworth, there's now and again when he's sort of tugging on the leash and trying to go just explore something. Like you get the feeling he can probably spot a couple of like field mice. No birds though, no birds whatsoever. But he spots some field mice and he's trying to tug at it. But in general, things go quite fine. It's very strange though as you stand there and you just see the fog wall. You know it's spreading, and of course it's not spreading at a rate of knots or anything, but it's weird to see fog that just hangs there. It's just a constant. Getting close up doesn't dissipate it for your perception. You can't swing an arm and make it sift away. It's just static there.
Well, I am sufficiently creeped.
Yeah, but your watch passes by without any other incident. And as you clamber up the wagon, give me a strength check.
Ah, hell, I knew that was coming.
Ooh, nice.
Ah, hell.
So remember when you were better than the ranger at animal handling? Pepper's
This
Farm remembers.
is strength saves, not animal handling.
As you jump up to get into the wagon, Pufflesworth does not. He backs up a few steps and manages to tug just the right time and pull you off balance a bit. As you just get back unsteadily onto your feet on the ground. He looks smug as he sits down.
At this point, I promptly scold him. You are being very bad, and you won't get any extra mice today.
Be quiet!
Go buy some earplugs.
I'll go buy them tomorrow.
Don't listen to her.
But yeah, after that, you're able to carry him back in. Alright, second watch. Who's up?
Guess that would be me.
Alright, as we
Probably gonna
start
want
the
a
shortest watch.
perception.
If you thought the rain was loud, you now got a plodding dwarf.
Who doesn't see shit?
I mean, you see all around you, in fact. It's all worked land, it's all
Very
very low. I
dark.
mean, okay, if you wanted to, you could stand your tiptoes and see past some more of the hedges, but you're content enough as you are. As you look around, it's just very strange just seeing this massive wall of fog just going off in both directions. And then as you browse around, you start... Well, the darkness starts to settle in, your vision starts to creep in steadily until you're just locked into your dark vision. Just shades of grey, 60 feet out. there is a moment where you feel something press on your boot. You look down and see a very small sparrow.
But it's not a peacock.
It's not a peacock.
Obviously smaller feathers.
And the moment you start your patrol again, it just flits off and away.
Title of my autobiography.
60 foot of grey. Nice. And your watch comes to a close.
Who's up next?
I'll get up and do a watch.
You know,
As I'm going
multiple
to
people
bed,
can do
I found a
watches
bird,
and
but it's not a
converse.
peacock.
You don't have to just be on your Todd.
I found a bird. It's not a peacock. Just a sparrow.
Excellent.
No,
What does
no,
a sparrow look like? I want to know this.
Well, it was grey and grey. It was darker grey and then slightly lighter grey.
Yeah, hold on. I've got to download this photo and sepia it real quick.
All right, you and Wolfgang are up. Unless you want to leave him asleep.
Wolfgang will get up for a bit as well.
Well, give me your perceptions.
And,
He's at advantage, of course.
Okay.
You see,
I shall also have a small prayer to the dragon god Tamara, thanking her for her assistance.
I mean, you did survive.
Yes, that is a good start.
It's not bad. Days have gone worse for other people. They don't get to complain about
Yep.
them.
No,
Well, yeah,
I
you do
almost went down. I didn't go down, so
Yep.
good day.
Wolfgang did.
I mean,
But
he may go down.
As he stands here on all fours, you can watch as just his chest starts to inflate as he takes a big, deep breath, sucking in every cent he can. Just almost able to picture the tracks of all the different farmers and workers and serfs. And then barks out into the night. And you're just able to see on the edge of your vision a badger.
So that's what a badger looks like. Excellent. I know more.
You now know what a badger is. It's very small, it has a very fluffy tail, very prickly ears, and tiny furry hands. No, wait a minute. That's something much more dangerous. But yes, you do see a normal badger. As he's just sort of
Okay.
glaring at you and Wolfgang.
Thank you, Wolfgang, for pointing out and letting me know what that is. Most excellent.
Well, I mean, he knows it's a badger. To you, it's just some sort of land beast.
But my teacher, Wolfgang, lets me know. Excellent.
Yeah, you do speak. But yeah, apart from that, unless you want to hassle it, that'll be the end of your watch.
Do it. Poke it with a spoon.
Would probably kill me at this point. I'm not kidding. Between us, we barely have over 20 hit points.
I mean, it's smaller than you, it's smaller than Wolfgang, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, but
Oh wait, no. Let me start.
no, I think that's about it for the watch.
Yeah.
There's a very tense half hour as you two and the badger just stare at each other in the darkness. Before it very slowly starts to paw away, and you wonder, can it even see in the dark? Huh, maybe it can. But the watch comes to an
I
end.
think.
So that lovely town we started in, how do we spell that name? Because I forgot.
Volonkia.
There we go. Because I would have put a K in there.
I mean, it's not as if you stayed to read the sign. You can spell it how you like, so long as it fits. Now I'm curious.
I love how the lurkers of the swamp helped her spell that.
It's also been doing all of
Yeah.
the strength checks.
The
Just a
swamp
pile
is
of mud.
self-aware, guys. I think
Just
we need
the
to go.
pile of mud just shows up. It was never donkey.
No, the real worry here is the locals of the swamp made Pufflesworth's perception check or whatever that was, rather than Pufflesworth, which we know has a character.
How do you know it was Pufflesworth doing a perception check?
That is the problem.
Bum, 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 bum.
But yes, your watch ceases. Who is last?
I guess I'll take it.
Droop does not immediately join you, unless he's kicked.
Nah, he brought bread. I'll let him rest for this time.
Yeah, the bread worked quite well with a rabbit stew. There's nothing quite like rustic home cooking, although it's not a patch on properly expensive fare, of course. Cooked by a proper chef in a proper kitchen. Carried by servants. Ah, have a good life. And as you stand there in the darkness, well, it actually is getting a little brighter now, thanks to the sun rising a bit earlier. I assume you're flicking out your dancing lights now and again as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all quite nice. It's a little dull. There's not a whole lot going on. That's that great tale told by the kobold about the badger. Then there was the bird as well. Yeah, as time just ticks on, all you can... Just that moment of... It's idyllic farmland, and then you can see little traces of a village as the sun gets a bit higher. And then behind you, just... the fog. It's just sitting there. It's tall, it's massive, and it's not moving. But yeah, you hear a few cockerels perk up, and it's time for the rest of the group to awaken.
Alright, people. Up you go.
I'm up! I'm up! I'm up! I'm up!
Yeah, he's up.
The light! The light! I was almost there!
Yeah, Siegfried, if you at any point took off your armor and shirt, you'd notice there's a big black scorch mark right in the center of your chest.
Dude, I've been asleep since after dinner. I'm still sleeping next to the wagon wheel.
No one moved him.
He
Oh,
was
he
so
looks so
peaceful.
peaceful.
Yeah.
For once, he wasn't shaking, and not screaming either.
Yeah.
I'd almost made it. Almost.
Poor guy.
Oh, actually, give me a wisdom save, then, Siegfried.
How delightfully devilish, Seymour.
It was bad last night. In your dreams, there was the light in front of you, but every now and again you looked behind in your dream. You could see them chasing you. Ghouls, clawing at the ground. Every time they scratched into it, it wasn't like they were clawing up dirt, it was like they were clawing you up. You could see the great rents of flesh like they'd done on you. Behind them were even larger shapes, indistinct. You know you could see the darkness of a bodak behind them. And they just kept getting closer while the light stayed at the same distance, no matter how far you ran, no matter how hard you were pushing. Everything was painful and straining as you kept running, but they just kept getting closer. Then they reached out. You could feel it on the back of your neck. And then you awoke. To daylight.
And we have to go back.
Well, time to get into the undead swamp.
Yeah, Siegfried looks a lot... Siegfried looks a lot paler than he did the day before. There's shadows under his eyes.
But at least a full amount of hit points.
Yep, everyone gets everything back.
Yeah, I
Although
might wanna fix
Siegfried might
that.
have lost a little bit there.
All my spells are back.
And as morning rises, as the farmers are starting to start tromping down their fields again, because you've got to work the soil. The only way to fight back weeds is to keep working that dirt. A few are even leading out a couple of their pigs by leash. One smart halfling farmer riding his. So, what do you do?
Well, Droop, we're about to head back into the swamp.
Good
I
luck.
guess you can take.
One thing, Drew, we don't want anybody to notice the big snail shell.
As he looks at it, he notices how it's making a huge bulge in the canvas. At the pool of ooze that he has to digitize later. And how, during the night, you were all sleeping in the carriage with the shell, and, well, it was pretty cozy. If it hadn't been for people on patrol, people would have been bundling up quite a bit. And he just looks at that, looks at how it's sparkling, it's iridescent, catching every bit of moonlight, how it's purple and blues. And he notices how the farmers are starting to stop and stare. Okay. I will stop them from noticing it. Somehow.
Well, just lower the cover down over it so it doesn't get too much notice.
Yeah, okay, I can do
What's
that.
done is done. Is just do what you can.
Yeah, I will.
Fog cloud might work.
And if anyone the mask, it's cursed. It's a powerful cursed item.
Gotcha.
Only to be handled by wizards.
Oh, of course, of course. But that's just like anything in the world.
Exactly.
I'll show you my spell. I'll show you my spell. Let me just grab a sheet. I shall obscure the shell with my spell. Haha. And pa-pow! Oh wait.
Oh no!
And in a 20-foot radius sphere, there's a lot of very confused frogs that materialize out of the thin air and splatter onto the ground, just milling around, looking very unsure of where they are. Whoops!
Well, at least it's breakfast for Pufflesworth.
Well, that's. I look at Pufflesworth. Do you eat those?
If you give him a second, he will be face deep in that horde.
Alright. In which case, then I'll let him go and I'll let him clean it up.
Yeah, he just starts tearing through.
Wait a sec. Can I know I'm going to regret this, but can I make sure at least they're not poison frogs? If I know they're not poison frogs, or have I got no idea at all?
I don't know. Can you? That's the question.
Give me a nature check. You know that these are just... You know at least you can recognize them. They're just river frogs. They're gooey,
Okay.
slimy.
At least,
They're good fried.
actually, the better question was, are they bright colours or not? Was the
They
better
are not
question.
bright colors. They're various greens and browns. They're very common looking
Yeah, now you're
frogs.
asking the right questions.
You've at least not come across a frog on this continent so far that has been of a poisonous or venomous nature.
I don't think he was looking for venomous.
Well, it's important to know both. They're two different things, people. And
That's
yeah,
how
let's
63 died.
see here in the devastation of it all. Yeah, Pufflesworth manages to just stamp on free as he fills his belly.
Oh no, he didn't have to fight. I let him go.
Oh no, he's fighting them.
Oh.
He's declaring war on them.
Well, we didn't exactly feed him last night, from what I remember, so
Well, I just assume you
He's
share
probably
your
pretty
rations
hungry.
with him.
if we ate, then he ate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You probably still
grab
have
a
some
lot
of that
to deal with.
incredibly fucking dried out deer as well. Or warthog. I mean, there's no moisture and it's not going to go off anytime soon.
I mentioned to Droop to possibly check his spelling in his book.
Okay. Yeah, I see I went wrong somewhere, and I'll get right on it. Just give me a moment. As he slowly starts rising his spellbook up. Meanwhile, there's a lot of croaking.
I don't know, that frog cloud thing seems kind of useful.
How?
For Pufflesworth.
I have a question. Is concentration up to 1 hour? What happens after 1 hour?
That is a good question.
Only one way to find out.
Very quietly you can hear Bud. 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 Wise.
Er.
There you go.
Coors. Yeah.
Alright, that's enough digging around with Droop. What are you guys doing?
We'll be going back into the swamp.
Begrudgingly.
I get my trusty stick out.
Can we get a bigger stick?
If you can
Shoot
find
through.
one.
Zarzul, you
look
do
for
realize
one?
you did find bigger sticks. Then you snapped them in half and put them into the fire.
Nice.
But you could give it another go. Or there's the farmers nearby. There are people to interact with. Some have
Ew,
gardening
people.
implements.
Yes, they're probably loath to give those up. Farming implements are expensive for farmers. No, let's just deal with the sticks we've got.
You could forage for a new one.
Forge on ahead. Oh, I could look for a new one.
Yeah.
Can I do a quick search round?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you managed to find one that's a fair bit. It's about. The one you have is about a foot or so. This one's about 2 foot. You managed to double the size.
Progress.
It's a bit more gnarled and a bit bendier, but it works. It's from one of the hedges that just was not handled properly.
Okay. Let us proceed to where the snail was.
I think we're going to have to deal with the hedgerow first, I think.
Bad as if you go the same route.
Basically the same route, I think. Was there any point in going anywhere different, guys?
Don't believe so. You're the one leading the way.
Alright, as you set off, down south. The going is still... It's still methodical, it's still ponderous, it's still a problem, but... You're not getting lost, you know to keep a hold of each other to some degree. And he's still poking diligently. Wolfgang also assisting, being a little bit more confident since you can see further ahead now. Since you started out, you didn't have the lanterns fired up. I mean, yesterday. But yeah,
I'm also going to start my mace up so that I have a little extra light.
you notice that that light has no effect on the area.
Drat.
Only the natural light works. It's when you get to the hedgerow, though, that things are a bit different. The hedgerow itself, as you crawled along, it was a tangled mess. It was basically like a great sort of a disc of under and overgrowth. And through the middle of it, across from east to west, it's all been flattened. There's a great trough just dragged right through it.
Huh.
Does it stink like to high heaven?
Yes, but not in the same way that the Catobal Pass did. It just
I wager this was the really loud thing we heard earlier.
Whoever wants to give me a more detailed sniff can roll perception. If you've got it tagged. The wolf is overwhelmed for a moment and just sort of paws at her nose, trying to stick into the mud for a bit. Siegfried alert to the smells of death, because he himself reeked of it quite a few times. Among the horrible reek of dead vegetation and decay and rot, you also smell... You smell meat. You smell carcass. You smell rot of the grave sort of thing. You do smell animal. It's not to the degree of a total pass. It's still bad. And it's not quite the same smell you picked up in the crypt.
Wonderful. Instead of a skeletal minotaur, we've got now a zombie minotaur. Wonderful. You wouldn't do a thing like that to us, would you?
Not at all, not at all. I do
We've
much worse
already-
things.
I was about to say that's not the worst thing.
See, yes, last week I realized I need to stop having mercy. Because otherwise, how will they learn?
You had mercy?
I did?
Yeah, I should be dead.
Yeah.
Ah.
But I decided not to kill him by stink cow just yet.
He felt there was much more cruel to keep him alive.
Exactly. If he's dead, that means he stops suffering. So, what are you doing?
Checking the path, is there any footprints, or are they all gone?
As you're able to push on through the hedgerow now, and it seems like most of the occupants were quite disturbed by whatever passed through. And, a lot of the definition are gone, but there's definitely indications of a track. Give me a survival check from the kobold. Yeah, let's see. As you're pointing these out, you're picking up there was definitely two creatures. One had an uneven gait. You could tell that there at least. Big striding. Most of you could fit into one of these footprints. It's long, horribly, like, whatever the claws and the toes are, they're just horribly gnarled. And very heavy. Every footstep is very deep. But they just march on through without a problem.
Can I do a quick search for undead to see if the undead's in the path that the big thing took?
Alright, give me a... I forgot you have to roll for it there. Let's see here. You detect 2 undead signatures. The Will-o'-the-Wisp is gone. You don't feel that anymore. You still feel that same presence to the south, that singular creature. And let's see here. Let's do an old measuring tape here. Well, then again, you're off the map anyway, but yeah, it's a good couple of 100 feet away. Still in the same place it was. The other one, the one that was to the southeast, you now detect it to the southwest, but it's much further away than this track. It's about near enough 150 or so feet away.
So it's not on the same path as the track.
Yeah. It's definitely... It just seems to have wandered across. From all you can tell, it's not related to this bit. If it marched from southeast over to the southwest, it might not even come up to the trail.
Okay. Guys, after relaying this information, do we just want to head straight south and see what we find down there?
Yeah, I've voted for South.
Yep.
I agree.
Might as well.
What they said.
You're able to make your way through pretty easily, in fact. It's, let's see here. Gotta clean up some of this area now. Let's see, player tokens over here. So I can drag and drop you guys with ease. I can hide this shit from the old battle. By about the time you're stomping over the area that you killed the flail snail in, again you hear that horrendous roar. It's a lot closer now.
Can we make out words?
Cornelius can. You can't make out the sentences, but now and again you can hear insults spoken in broken goblin. Like the deepest, darkest insults that Droop really had to work himself up to tell you. There's a few other bits and pieces, but
Couldn't Bradir, Goblin?
No,
Or just someone
Bradir.
else?
no, just Dwarvish.
Oh, okay.
yeah, no one else speaks
Siegfried's
goblin.
got, Goblin.
Pardon?
I mean, I've heard these insults before, but I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, you've heard these sort of words directed, but they're getting lost in the monstrous thing. Only Cornelius can really pick out their actual
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, Siegfried's got Goblin.
Oh
But
yeah,
if you're going high-end insults, I might have those.
yeah. You can pick up on a little bit of it, but then they're just lost in more of these gibberish words that you don't understand.
Ah. Well, that's odd. There's a few Goblin insults in that screaming.
So it's something that speaks Goblin, or some derivative of.
And from
Yeah,
what you
so-
can tell just from a judge, they're south of you. And you're currently where you fought the flail snail.
Is they giving any more information rather than just random swearing?
Not from what I can hear.
Yeah, the moment they...
Okay.
Just sounds like someone is very angry.
Yeah, you only hear swearing when they go to goblin. Anything else that might
swearing
be
in
conveyed
two
is in a different
languages?
language.
Okay, swearing in 2 languages. Interesting.
High degree of intelligence.
I'm trying to think of who might know this. I'll give Castellian Malgern an intelligence check.
Okay.
Because you guys are more northerly.
Uh,
Let's see what the dwarf pulls out.
Hey!
Nice.
And I have a negative in that stat.
There's a moment when the two of... I'm glad they're coming up now and not in the combat.
We're wasting them, guys.
There's a
That's why I
moment when the
was
two
rolling
of
all
you
the
just
luck
sort of side eye each other, as if there's just this unspoken connection for a moment. Then you just think, you're thinking very large, booming words, strange. This might be giant.
Oh. Oh.
You've heard some of these sort of sounds coming out, echoing over the hills and mountains when you were in the troll country. And you and Castalia would have heard them when she was up in the mountains. Now, various things do speak giant. It's quite well known that the Goliath herds, they speak giant fluently. So it's not always meaning it is a giant, but usually big things are the things that speak it.
I think it's something rather large. Don't know what to do about it.
well, it's something large, and it speaks Goblin.
Yeah.
After the roaring quiets down, their speaking doesn't. And you start to notice that there's now sounds of movement. Stomps, squelches, splats. There's a sound of meat being torn.
I think
Exit
something-
stage left.
It sounds like it's getting closer.
Exit stage left.
I don't have to run faster than them. I just have to run faster than the party.
Does my ankle come any better?
No one healed you. No one healed you this morning. It's frothing.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, way to go.
Well, he didn't ask.
What do you mean you didn't ask?
There's also the fact that you went to sleep standing up.
Sitting down.
What is this? What is this you didn't ask? The doctor will see you now, but only if you ask? What the...
It's not nationalized healthcare. Private, man.
Surprised you take his insurance.
there's a sort of... There's a yell of just a single sort of syllable. And they start to stop for a moment and then start moving, and they're getting closer.
Exit stage left.
But which way is stage left? Which way?
Whatever
are you
the
running?
way they're not going is.
So the heroes go north once again out of the fog cloud.
No,
That
not
won't
that way.
hilariously backfire at all.
Not that way.
Shall we set up an ambush?
No.
Hey, who made you a tactical genius all of a sudden?
I'm a kobold. Ambushes was what we
No,
do.
I'm talking to the cleric.
I know.
say-
Big thing is loud.
If we've killed, what? Can't be bigger than a bugbear. We've killed those before.
I say hide amongst the ruins. We're not gonna be able to outrun this.
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to out us by walking.
So this is a nice Malgern-sized bush. You're all on your own.
Until he stomps on the bush. Then he goes.
What I love
You
throughout
guys
all
might
of
want to
it...
find bushes.
There we go. Finally someone thinks I'll try and be quiet. Where all the rest of you have been talking about this and jumping around. Splashing in the dirt.
Try
Get
get
back
over
here,
to
Cornelius.
some of the, I'm gonna try and get over to the hide
Oh,
amongst the
what?
ruins.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
no, get-
Things are changing just now.
Okay.
Consequences are being happened because none of you did anything or said anything.
Well, I said that I was going.
I know
I
you're
wanna
going.
see
No,
what
no,
it
but
is.
what I'm saying is none of you, apart from these two, of course, at the last fucking minute I saw that, Siegfried, said they're gonna do anything quietly. So you've been clattering around looking for cover, while clanking about, while squelching, while splashing. So, it's gonna be initiative. So let me bring up the clock.
I knew
Let
that
me
was
clear it
coming.
first.
I was born ready for this.
Act like a bush. Act like a bush. Act like a bush.
Oh, fucker.
Okay, I paid for not clicking my token.
Womp womp.
I need to find my token.
Wow,
Hold
that,
on.
that sucks.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I don't see
nice.
any. Oh, there's my token. Okay, well, we're okay.
She can't even find herself on the battle map. We're screwed. How's she gonna heal Siegfried if she can't find her token?
Siegfried, that ankle
Well,
hurts
very
like a...
shortly, it mightn't be fine. Mightn't be heal
It might be a non-issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta tell you right now, Siegfried, that ankle hurts like a bitch.
So what? I'm down to
And
20
it-
feet.
And in my
No, you're still at
everybody else
25.
is clattering around. My splint mail doesn't clatter, thank you. I do, but the splint mail doesn't.
There's a bellowing roar at the top of a round. And marching, at first you see a vague silhouette, and then stomping through is a troll.
Oh.
The difficult terrain, apparently not all that difficult for something born for marshy conditions.
Ah, God damn it, trolls have regeneration too, don't they?
It is soaked to the skin. It is a slimy, green, overly tall, lanky mass of a monster. In its right hand, it's holding a right hand with an arm attached. From a troll, bleeding profusely.
Well,
There's blood pouring out of its mouth as well. Chunks of flesh sticking between the teeth. And as it looks down, it's going to swat at the only one it can reach from this distance. Well, actually, no, you did try to hide in a bush. So let's see here if it spots you. Let's see here. So perception, yeah. So and it doesn't. It can't spot Siegfried, who is cowering in a bush underneath it. He's just in a clump of moss, trying to pretend to be part of it.
I'm doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Predator movie.
Except he didn't have his eyes scrunched up with tears. So instead, it's going to look around and then see the red color and swing for that, tossing the severed arm at Castalia. 16 hit.
Yep.
Let's see, a severed troll arm. What would that be?
Well, gonna hurt one of us more than the other.
Let's see. Okay, he only gets a dice for his damage, so yeah, that looks right.
Improvised,
He
right?
takes 7 points of bludgeoning damage as you're smacked in the chest by this severed
He
arm.
takes 15 fire damage.
Potentially.
Unless he saves on a 15 DC.
He did not. So he is lit up for 15 damage. He does not like it one bit. His sopping, soggy exterior is sort of dried up and crackly and scaly now. Unfortunately, he looks very pissed off about it as he stares at Castalia. But that's his turn since he can't march any further. Rain. That's a fucking troll.
They brought a cave troll.
So I can only go 3 squares right now, right?
3 spaces.
Okay, that's glorious. So that big F off troll is going to be a very lit big F off troll.
Potentially.
He already is, but yeah.
Not that kind of lit.
That is a clear and present hit. Yep. As he takes 16 radiant damage. As once again, as he fires that globule of bright energy, just sears against his flesh. And then very slowly starts to spread around the body. Seems to take longer just because he's a bigger figure. But now he's glowing.
Then I'm going to make sure then to bugger off to here. I'm
Mulgurn.
hiding behind the kobold.
Yep. Mulgurn, you're up. That's a fucking troll. You never got the contracts for trolls. You heard about them, but they never gave you the contracts. Maybe today.
Well, I'm not getting any closer to that thing, so we're gonna try this.
That's a hit. A solid 10 bludgeoning. Let's see here.
We're gonna try it again. Ah, crap.
That's not a good. Oops. And with that natural one, you knocked down my monster manual.
Yeah, I know. I'm that powerful.
Yep. And yeah, yours just shoots off into the mist. You hear a yell of annoyance, but you don't hear any impact following it.
Then I'm going to take my movement, step back to my friends.
All right, Siegfried, you're in the mud, being very, very quiet right now.
I'm attacking from
Yeah,
stealth, so that's I still get
disadvantage.
my sneak attack.
Yep, it'll be sneak attack and advantage. Because he doesn't know where you are. He's not looking down at you. He's just looking at the red one. That's a hit. You strike in.
Jesus.
Yeah.
If only we had some sort of wizard to help us.
He's going to have to worry about the one coming up behind him anyway. So
As you stab deep into his ankle. And there's this bellow of pain.
well, I'm going to use my bonus action to disengage and move 2 squares.
Yep.
Oh, probably 1 square. I'm going to go just because. Well,
Well, you
I'm
gotta
not a
get up,
complete
so
arsehole.
yeah, you got 1 square. Wolfgang.
This is the problem.
It's pretty
Wolfgang is
manageable.
going to... Yeah, I know.
In fact, I forgot to point out that the
quite a bit
troll
of
is
damage.
bleeding profusely now.
Wolfgang is going to charge in.
Siegfried
show
managed to get...
Him how it's done.
Does he have that much movement?
He is 40 by default.
Okay, yeah, you can move those squares in. But yeah, after getting stuck in the ankle, it's bleeding profusely out of there.
Okay. Go for the ankle. 16.
That is a hit. He doesn't fall
Another
down though.
10 piercing.
But 10 as Wolfgang charges in, seeing that injured ankle, and just moves in to fucking shred at it and pull at it. Zarzul, your turn.
Okay. Well, let's light this motherfucker up. Let's do this. We take out the crossbow. We twist the knobby thing. We take aim.
That's a hit.
Did I fix this? Yep.
And a D10 of 5. Oh yeah, there's a total. Yeah, he added in. You take aim for a second. Luckily, it's such a tall creature you don't even have to worry about any friendly fire issues, as you just wait for the head to rear up after Wolfgang bites down. You release the bolt. It blazes in the air. For a moment, you tense up, thinking there might be a pocket of gas right beside you again. But it sails through, and it smashes into the underside of the troll's chin, erupting, and the head is blown apart. It is a deceased troll.
Troll down. Okay, what were you guys doing?
I'm wondering where the second one is.
Yeah, I've seen that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, I should be revealing more of this area.
Yeah, for some reason I feel like there's a second troll.
There's a third one. There's a third one. The tracker.
Well, he also had an arm.
Yeah.
So you're saying one of them might be wounded and in berserk mode already?
Yeah.
But
Sounds
if
good.
he's lost an arm, he might be at full health.
Anything more from your turn?
No, I'm about done, I think.
Just make sure. Double check things. Yeah.
I'll
okay.
make a rude gesture in the direction of the troll.
Castalia,
Too big.
there's this heavy fucking troll arm still twitching at the foot of you. That hurt.
Yes, it did.
Bit of a delay.
Well, I mean, what else am I supposed to say? I got hit with an arm. The arm is in front of me.
Yep.
The only thing I can think of is the troll is going to come looking for the arm.
Well, if he comes, then give it to him.
And
They're
he's going
gonna
to
want it
want
back.
more than just the arm.
What are you doing with your turn?
Let's see.
The fact that we're
Don't
still
worry.
on terms tells me that we have him nearby.
Well, you heard two voices, and you heard two creatures stomping towards you.
Don't worry, I made a loud noise so they know exactly where we are.
There's also the fact that you're the only source of light around here.
I'm basically going to cast Elemental Weapon with fire onto my weapon.
Alright. Any movement?
No.
Cornelius.
Yes. I'm gonna move a bit closer to everyone else. Actually, I should... There. Oh wait, how long? How much? There's 3 squares, right?
Free spaces, yeah.
3 spaces. Yeah. And nah, I don't really have anything else to do.
Alright. You can hear for a moment several heavy, splashing, crunching footsteps. And then nothing. And then you look up. Well, not fully up, but slightly up. As you see a troll leap from one of the islands into the midst of you.
They can
I'm going to
do
need
that.
dex saves from Malgern and Castalia.
Well, shit.
As he attempts to just land upon you guys. Okay. You both managed to roll to safety, so you can pick one square 5 feet away to position yourselves. As the rest of the group takes in the sight of this troll, who is... we'll call him Lefty.
Ah, I see.
But
Get it.
there's more to it. He does have a left arm. It is fully intact, but while the right arm is missing and already starting to grow over the stump, there's other bits of him too. There's a piece of thigh missing. There's toes missing. He's only got 2 fingers on the left hand. Also, since it was the start of his turn, he does regenerate slightly. There we go.
And click that button.
Hmm?
Oh, I was just in preparation.
Yep, and he's gonna waylay the lot of you. So first of all, he's gonna try and smack at the dwarf. And fail. He's then going to bite down on the tiefling. That hits.
Ooh.
And you take 9 piercing damage as he just bites down onto your shoulder. Onto the right one. He's trying to victimize you, I feel. Trying to spread the pain. And then to his side, he can see the measly little human. And swipes out. And that's 13 slashing damage on Siegfried as he backhands him.
I use Uncanny Dodge as a reaction.
Yep, okay then. It's trimmed down to 6 damage. Top of a round, that troll is dead, and it does not reform. Rain, you're up.
Well, it worked so well the last time. So I think I'm going to light the crap out of that new troll.
That does hit, and it is lit the fuck up. As
I
you
think it's actually evil.
let's see here. That's, okay. He is starting to bleed, but then he already seemed to start in that condition anyway. Being that he has 1 arm. Any follow-up?
No, I'm content hiding behind the kobold.
I don't think that's possible.
It's a body between me and the troll. That's what I want.
You
And
hear a lot
you're
of...
in the way too.
From the west, you hear a lot of splashing. It's a little bit hurried. And out steps another troll. Waist deep in the floodwater. Chewing on a small, horribly reeking creature. As he just takes great chunks out of a sturdy neck. The club tail already missing. The head gone. Someone
thank
found the
God, he
baby
ate the
could
calf.
pass.
Thank God.
So about you having a body between you and the troll. How's that
Having
working out
heard
for
all
you?
the noise, it's quite interested in all this. And then sees by itself a human. Looks fancy. Bit stringy.
I'm not by myself. I
it's
haven't
me.
done that.
You're not human.
Ooh.
Oh!
Shots fired. Yeah, you thought you were.
First of all, he's going to attempt to bite down on the noble.
Uh-oh.
Hey, maybe the ears are false. She could be human.
She's just a poser.
have
She's
you
an elf
ever
poser like in Shadowrun.
None of you have ever checked.
Is a 16 hit?
Yeah, because with my shield I can only get to 16.
Oof. That's 6 piercing as he chomps down. Luckily, not enclosing on your head, but manages to get you in the arm. And then the claws lash out as well.
Oof.
13 slashing on the 18. What'd you say, sorry?
I can save myself from the 15.
It's up to you if you want to do it.
Yeah, I'd rather reduce the amount of damage I'm about to take.
Yeah.
13 is fucking painful for me.
So the claws just rake down the front of Cornelius, and as he's reeling, he manages to figure out a quick incantation, and the last swipe is just stopped by arcane sigils. And this horrible thing is just breathing down on him, chunks of Cthulhu just pushing out with his heated breath. And there is a sentence as well in the taunt, but it's all in giant. Malgern, you almost got stepped on. How dare he?
Malgern.
Oh, by the way, Cornelius is in trouble, but how dare he try to step on you?
He's a wizard. He can handle himself.
Can you handle yourself, Cornelius?
Can, as a matter of fact.
You had advantage on that attack, so we can roll again.
Oh, I did?
Yep, guiding bolt. Oh well, takes a 7 slashing as you carve through it with Talon.
And we're gonna try it again.
Yep. Another 8 slashing as you just start carving into that rubbery hide.
And I am not going to attempt to push this thing down. I'm just gonna stay right here.
You could. Do you have anything else to do with your bonus action?
No, there's no penalty for failure. So yeah,
Exactly.
you're right.
Do you want to push him down or push him away?
I want to push him down.
Alright.
Oh. Okay.
Well, he can't actually beat that, so yeah, you push him down. As you just... There's this moment where you're just thinking, how the fuck can I push this over? How can I deal with this? You realize, go for the knee. As you just bash your full weight and shield against his knee, it pops backwards for a moment and he tumbles. Feels like he just felled a tree. You wonder, is this how lumberjacks are all the time? They brought down something so large. Siegfried.
Well, there's something next to me. I don't like it. I'm going to stab it.
Yeah, it's having a hell of a time trying to get up with just the one arm. It's too dumb to really realize that the other arm isn't there right now. 21 piercing. It's on its last legs as far as you can tell. It definitely looks like it's bleeding profusely from where you stabbed it.
Okay. Okay, I give. Let's see. Who should I give advantage to this time? Somebody with something that's got fire. Go to the tiefling.
Alright. Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, seeing how effective it was last time, takes another bite. 24.
Yeah, I believe that hits. And it is
That roll
eviscerated
crit.
as he just leaps for the throat and just pulls it free. He's already prone as well, so I don't have to bother with a strength save.
Aha. Excellent.
Yep. Anything else from the wolf?
The wolf looks proud of its accomplishments. It has killed the troll.
Probably smells horrible though.
It does.
Yeah,
It
most
tastes horrible.
likely.
Even for a dog, it doesn't like the taste. It's horrible, chewy, squirmy meat.
It looks at Pufflesworth and motions that this is how it should be done.
You know what? Fuck it. Wolfgang, roll animal handling. It's intelligence, I think.
That was so good.
Not very good.
Wolfgang tries to pull alpha for a moment, looking proud and dignified as a hunter, but the squirming in the meat is just getting to it, and he vomits. It's just a hacking and a little bit of flex and all, but it doesn't feel good after that. Troll meat is not good for eating. Hubblesworth was distracted by a butterfly. Zarzul.
Oh, there's another troll here. Last one popped so nicely. I think he'll try again. Let us put another crossbow bolt into the head of a giant, or troll, as the case may be. We shall twist the little lever. We shall make sure it's nice and sparkly, and launch another attack.
Yeah, the Monster Manual doesn't really say why they know giant. They just do. Yep, that's a hit.
12.
I already typed it to you. It's Volunkia.
No, the other one, the one that we've just been at.
Yeah, that's it.
No, the
You-
one that then I need the one that we started in.
Yeah.
The
You've only
two
been to
different
one town.
towns.
Oh, you mean the one you started at the very beginning?
Yes.
Oh, that was actually human and dwarf type. There we go, Fandolin.
Yeah.
So,
There we
yeah.
go. That's why I was confused, but
12 total damage. As yeah, it bursts into flames. Although, it doesn't seem to get as scaly and cracked as the other one because it had been soaking in the water beforehand. It's drier at least. And it definitely did not enjoy
I've
that. as
annoyed it.
look- Hmm?
Good.
Yeah.
I've annoyed it. This is good.
Yep, it's looking at you now. Castalia.
I was half tempted to hide behind.
Oh, well,
Ah,
if you still got the action, yeah. You can move.
No, I shall stay put.
Right? I'm gonna get up close and hit it.
Alright.
Because I'm feeling good.
Ah, yeah, taking a page from my book. Nice.
Womp.
Yeah, that's one hit, so you had advantage on that.
Ow.
So that's 11
just-
total damage, because I'm taking the first roll.
Then
Yep, that's 2 hits total, so let's see. So that's 11 and 14.
shouldn't that be 17? Or no, you can use whatever. And the second number's fire damage.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely looking scaly and dried out now. As you just smash into him. The rubbery hide gives way for a moment. You start to see flecks of skin coming off as the blazing weapon just smacks down on it. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Cornelius.
I'm very angry.
So's it, to be fair. You're all on the same page right now.
Wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Cornelius
fact-
casting large on himself. Can't do anything till his next turn.
That'd be
In fact-
amazing, though.
In fact, I am so angry that I'm going to cast Burning Hands at a level 3.
Oof.
Ooh.
Really piling on the fire.
What is
Next
the
time we
troll?
fight ice trolls.
Let's see here.
Well, that's not a save.
Yeah, so I get to add 5d6s of fire damage.
Yeah, it should be when you click it in the spell in the attack list. You can bump up the spell level.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a manual roll. $18 damage.
18 damage. As you just start to sear one of the arms. Focusing specifically on that just because it's the first one you reach. That was a claw that got you. It's a blackened, charred twig of an arm now. And its attention completely refocuses. First it drifted to the tiefling. Now it's back on the wizard. Dead Troll's turn. Dead Troll rises up. It stands. It looks down at Siegfried and Wolfgang as its throat starts to seal over. It attempts to bite the wolf. I think that misses.
That's a miss.
And it claws at the human.
I'm going to use the magic shield spell that I've got in the ring.
Alright, that's a plus 5 to your AC. What does that bring it up to?
20 something.
Wait, you clawed at the human? I'm gonna impose disadvantage.
Well, it doesn't matter now. He can't actually hit him. Both of those miss as he claws against the magic shield.
Let's see, 22.
Yep.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, it's higher than 19, so yeah. As the claws just rake against the magic shield. It looked very pissed off. Especially for something that just seemed to come back from the dead. That troll, however, stays dead. Rain, you're up. You just watch the troll get back up.
Well, I already helped put that one down, so the one that's mucking around with Castalia and Cornelius is going to get a guiding bolt.
You really should have picked a damaging cantrip.
I'm quite happy with this one, actually. A guiding bolt to the face. I want it to be lit.
Yeah, he's lit the fuck up. It sears into him. He's hurt. He's bleeding. He's been smashed around by fire. Oh, that's the wrong mark. Not an X, a red dot. There we go.
I was about to say, I don't think I killed him that much.
Yep. Anything else for your turn?
Wait, did one of those trolls regenerate?
Yes. I'm moving over here. Just because I want to put something between me and the one that's probably going to be mildly annoyed with me.
And so you put the small little dragon creature.
Yes.
This troll's turn now, and it seems a little confused for a moment. It's getting annoyed. It doesn't seem to fix any of the wounds, though. Instead, though, now that you've blackened and ruined that left arm, the right arm, still holding the Catopelpass, swings down for the wizard first. Well, I'll be using the Starving Claws bit.
Ow.
So that's a hit.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that'll be 1d12 as it bludgeons you with the body.
Oh god.
Oh well, only 5 damage.
Only I'm a wizard.
Yep. But it lets go of the body then. And then tries to claw you again.
Yep.
13.
I'm down.
Then it looks at Castalia with a great grin. Picks up Cornelius. And then takes a heavy bite in his shoulder. You take 2 failed death saving throws.
Ooh.
Well, actually, is it an auto? Hang on, I gotta check. Maybe it's just roll with advantage. I know that any melee hits up close like that there on an unconscious creature is 2 fails, but do I still have to roll for it as the check? Where's my appendix? That's right in that jar over there. Okay. Unconscious. Yeah, have to roll. I'm pretty sure I'll get them with advantage, but you never know. You might get lucky. You don't.
Oh.
As yeah, he just bites down deeply into Cornelius's shoulder.
I think I'm dead.
You're not dead, but you do have 2 failed death saving throws.
Yeah. If I
Yeah, if you fail,
yeah, I'm dead.
yeah.
So yeah, you people have a time limit now. Kill those creatures. With fire, hopefully.
On the plus side, because you're unconscious, you don't smell the fact that he's been holding the Catopelpass in his hand for possibly hours. So, swings and roundabouts.
Even
Mulgurn,
if he dies, I can res him.
the wizard handled himself.
That he did.
He's now being well handled.
Yeah. This is a problem. Second I gotta hit stuff.
Yeah, and that troll that was meant to be dead got back up again.
Fuck, I think I accidentally closed it.
He has to reload the lovely window.
I was dealing with money things. Sadly, banks don't care about D&D.
Well,
Very
what are you going
sad.
to do for your turn?
Well, I'm assuming I'm next to a troll, right?
Well, I mean, you could cheat and just look at your wife's screen.
Oh, yes, good.
She's right
yeah,
fucking
there's a
there.
troll in front of me, and I want to hit it.
To be fair to him, I did have a Word document up at the time.
Yeah, no, she's writing a novel.
curious.
She's working on that novel.
That wasn't too bad a bite. On the bright side, Siegfried, since you and Cornelius are the only humans in the party, now you've bonded even tighter. That's a
Wait, do I get advantage on this? Or only...
No, he hasn't
Not
been lit
anymore.
up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's a miss, I'm afraid.
He hasn't been re-lit up.
Okay, so that's a miss. We're gonna try it again.
That's a hit.
Eat a dick.
Would the troll be flanked?
Not where Malgern's standing. It's got to be opposite. And yeah, as it's rising up, it's still sort of hunched over, and Malgern just takes a little hop and just brings the sword down, and once again carves it deeply across the chest, and it falls over, deceased.
Right. With that being the case, it is deceased. Gonna go
now.
guard the body of Cornelius here.
Currently a puppet in the hand of a troll.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how he likes being put on the floor. I can move and hit the other one, right? Or push the other one, right?
I think the ruling
Right,
says it's got to be on the
same
creature you hit.
Let me check. Even think about that. If you take an action in your turn, you can use a bonus action to try and shove a creature within 5 feet of you. But it doesn't account for movement. I'm just going to assume I have to do it before.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird, but you run over and
yeah.
then press the shield.
Yeah, that would, yeah. So you're right. I would have to.
Anything else for your turn?
There's no dead. No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Siegfried. The troll fell down again. So did Cornelius. That's a new one.
Yeah. So this is what it feels like.
It really hasn't happened that much. So that's what it looks like when you fall.
Okay.
He almost
What
looks
would it
peaceful.
take for me to dump my flasks of oil on the troll that's right next to me, one that's been getting up, and light it on fire?
There won't be any flammable gases in the swamp. No, not at all.
Well,
I don't
at least
freaking
not near
care.
Zarzul. That's for where
And it
Siegfried
went
is.
right past the bolt went right past where I am, so
Yep.
it might be fairly safe.
You might be safe. Yeah, I'll let you use your action, your bonus to douse and then light them up. I assume you've got a tinderbox.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a tinderbox somewhere. Yep. And I've got a lit lantern at the moment anyway, so I mean, if all else fails, I just break the lantern over its head.
Oh, that'd be a great idea. Please do that.
No, we'll go with the correct way first.
Yeah, you just you unscrew. Well, if you want to, you can describe it.
Let's see, it'd be a flask, so just pop the cork out of it, upend the flask, and use tinderbox on thing and hope like hell it lights.
Yeah. It takes a few snaps, and you're worried. Should I really be this close to it as I do this? Every time you're breathing in, it's
care.
also the fumes of the oil. But you manage to catch a spark, and you watch as the still troll, its head ignites, it starts to wither and sink inwards, soften, and no more.
Right. And I think that's my turn done, so on to the next person.
Wolfgang.
Can Wolfgang jump over the corpse?
Yeah, you can
And
just put it
still
on
make
fire.
an
on fire.
Attack.
Well, only
Yeah,
the
I
head
know,
part's
that's
on
fine.
fire. There wasn't enough oil to cover the whole thing.
Okay, I was just wondering whether you could move.
Because yeah,
About
Siegfried, I'll
there.
say you don't empty the entire flask out, but you trim a few hours off it.
So
And yeah,
can,
Wolfgang.
Can Wolfgang make that?
Yeah, he can get there.
Okay.
Springs on the back of a dead
apply
troll.
the bite. Probably pretty badly though. Unfortunately.
Sadly, that's a miss. There's not a lot of armor, but the troll just managed to shuffle its ankle out of the way of the mouth. Zarzul.
Zarzul is going to make a small journey. Leave the protection of the cleric. Come down here.
I mean, she
Can
was
I
hoping
do-
you were going to protect her, not the other way around.
I know, but these things don't need to be said too loudly.
We'll for you too.
And can I use Cure Wounds on the wizard that's flying around seeing it's a touch spell?
Just for fun, give me an acrobatics. Because it's a tall troll, you're a short kobold.
This
Okay.
is never for fun. Well,
Yeah,
fun
you're
is
able
partly.
you're able to jump up as you're chanting the spell and just manage to grab on to Cornelius's ankles and sink the spell into him.
No, he managed to high five me as I go by.
I love how he's become so trained. He almost said Siegfried.
Now,
Yeah.
if he grabs him, my question is, when he lets go, is he going to be in the same position that he was when he started? Or with the troll wagging the guy around, is he going to be going on an adventure?
Well, I'll take
Okay, that's
I'll
10
take the
hit
suggestion.
points.
So you jump up, you manage to spring high enough up from the sodden earth, and manage to clasp and clap against one of Cornelius's dangling hands as you
See,
enchant
now
the
I
spell.
can imagine is, all I can imagine him is just now he's kicking off a stump and giving Cornelius a high five.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, Cornelius isn't into it. But then the wizard's eyes open up, and there's a big fucking troll face in front of it, sneering at him. And Zarzul splashes muddily into the water. So you're not entirely dead yet, but you still feel pretty dead.
I probably wished I was dead.
Yep. Anything for your bonus?
Nothing I've got left, unfortunately.
Alright, Castalia,
What about
your
your
turn's up.
reaction?
Well,
Yeah.
it's
What,
time
what,
to.
what about,
Hang on,
what
yeah,
about my
Thank you,
reaction?
Mouse.
Yeah, you can use your
Can't you
reaction
get
for the dog.
Wolfgang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I've got to make an attack for Wolfgang to attack.
Ah,
This
never
was
mind then.
just quickly kicking.
Sorry.
Hey, thank you, advantage. Unless I don't have it anymore.
Hmm. The problem is the advantage is only against the first attack,
Ah,
so I'm afraid both of those swipes miss.
boo hest.
Yeah.
I was saying boo earns.
Cornelius,
Yes.
you could wriggle free easily enough. It wouldn't cost an action or anything. He wasn't expecting you to give up any kind of struggle. He figured you were dead. And your shoulder really fucking hurts. Like, it's on fire. You look down, you can see the holes in you. And while bits of you came out, you know that those teeth went in.
Oop, sorry. Just clicked around the scroll bar.
Thaumaturgy, you hear very loudly as Castalia goes, "Oh, fuck!" on both her misses. What are you
Yeah.
doing, wizard?
I'm gonna shakingly take my hand up and do another
Burning hands.
burning hands.
Alright, you wriggle free of his grasp, land back on the dirt, and
Yeah.
assume the position.
This time just this time just a level 1 though. So 3d6s.
Don't think a 14 beats your DC.
Nope. It's
As once again
15.
he's lit up. This time you go you go center mass. You're trying to finish this, and you can see this big blackened mess spreading up along his chest. Flakes of skin just coming off of every movement. There's crackling as the fat starts to leak out. You've almost cooked him.
Oh boy.
Tasty.
Still standing though. Still looking angrily at the meal that got away. Anything else for your turn?
Not really. There's not really much else I can do.
Okay. Rain, it's now your turn. Neither of the slain trolls so far have gotten up.
Then I'm going to come up over here.
Difficult terrain.
Yeah, no, that's why I only did 3.
Yeah,
No, I thought you
she moved the
meant
free,
four, okay.
3 squares.
I thought I counted 4. My bad.
Please
Then
smack the
I-
troll down.
That's what I'm going to try to do, hopefully. This bad boy on the troll that's standing up.
That is precisely what was needed, as you just launch it off. And he tumbles backwards into the water.
Oh crap.
No, he's not on fire anymore. Crap.
The feet are still on the shore. Horrible, smelly, gnarled toenails.
Well, we can set those on fire.
I'm gonna let someone else do it.
And we're out of initiative. The troll does not rise back up. You wait for a moment, but it just seems to sit there. The feet aren't even twitching.
Just in case to shoot a firebolt on his feet.
So at least he can't run after us at high speed.
There's a horrible scorch mark now burrowed into the sole of his foot. You could reach in about an inch of melted flesh.
He's dead, alright.
Well, he kind of fell in the swamp, so I'm guessing the rock grubs will have at him.
You do start to see in the distance, there's a little frenzy of water around here.
I
Can't
suggest we
believe,
move
guys.
away.
Hey, look, south is open.
And yeah, we assume... So you continue to push on south?
Yes.
Yep, that was our direction.
Alright.
Did the
Except-
have anything of value on them that we can see? Or was it just basic troll?
Give me an investigation.
Uh-huh. Just can't get it. Oh, 6.
As you're sifting around them, and then there's the loincloths, which seem to be made out of troll themselves. I mean, there's not a lot on them. There's no pouches, there's no pockets. You don't really want to go digging into them. You do spot one... As Siegfried raised up his lantern for a second just to check on the oil amount, you do notice there's a glint in one of the mouths of the trolls. As you scramble across, you can see that there's a bent copper coin wedged in behind one of the teeth.
Score!
You can keep that one.
And on a quick inspection, the coin is is recent-ish. It matches in fairly well with the ones you got in Phandalin and whatnot.
Guys,
Anyway.
profit!
As we start
Let's get
going,
hit.
as we start going south, I think I'm just gonna chuck the healing potion I had on me.
I was going to heal you. Just
But-
saying.
Yeah, the
I'm
doctor's
just gonna
there.
chuck the healing potion. I'm too proud to ask for help.
This is
He chugs half of it and pours the rest on his shoulder. I don't have time to bleed. Ow.
Wait till he realizes he's being healed by kobold.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's
Well, I
no
didn't
evidence
notice
that
that.
Yeah, he was kind of asleep at the time.
Yeah.
It
no
was
idea
night-night
that the
time.
kobold saved his life.
What do I have to? What do I have to roll for the healing potion?
Let's see. I think it's just 2d4 plus 2, but I'll double check that. Where's me DM guide? Persian. And you'd think I'd know this off by heart by now. Yeah, potion of healing 2d4 plus 2.
Okay.
Whereas a greater is 4d4 plus 4.
8.
It's got a nice sort of... For you, it's got a nice sort of like raspberry taste to it. Quite pleasant.
It's got back up to 18. That's at least something.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a wizard.
Back up to 18. How do
Yeah,
get
I
back-
healed you for 10.
What? No, he healed me for 5.
No, it was a higher level
Uh,
casting.
Oh, okay.
I cast it at level 2.
Okay, thank you.
And so the parties start to move south.
Yeah, my death saves are not.
They're not restored
Moves,
until a
right.
long rest.
Ugh.
Potentially. I might change that rule or not. I haven't really experienced much of it. The standard rule is
Okay.
not until you get a long rest in you.
Hmm.
Carefully and stealthily, I'm going to proceed forward with the stick.
And I'm watching
Head
every
south.
square he's moving on.
Survey the next shore, possibly.
While he's doing it that way, I'm going along behind him, checking to make sure I don't do something stupid.
Alright, Siegfried keeps an eye on himself as he walks along. And while it's not shown in the map graphics, as you start to push on south here, you start to notice there's very sort of regular shapes to the land masses now. Again, not in the graphics because you can't find a fucking flooded village. But a few of them are starting to look sort of regular, just a little overgrown.
Okay.
And I'm gonna need dex save from Zarzul. Yeah, there's a rumbling underneath your feet as you start to set foot there. And you manage to back up quickly enough, and you just watch as the moss clumps just start to fold inwards. And there's nothing but water there.
Okay. I point out the path to the rest of the group so they're not lagging so far behind when we hit initiative.
Maybe diplomacy will work.
No. Let's try deception. Nope.
That definitely didn't work.
I say we go exactly where it warned us. That's a safe path.
And as you hop onto this island... Oh, no, that's not poking. As you hop onto this island, Zarzul, the sounds are completely different. I mean, it's still spit squelchy, still organic, but as you press your heel in deeper, you start to thunk against it, and you hear a hollowness to it. You just scrape at it with your claws, and you can see it's wood. This was an old roof.
Oh dear. We may have to swim. Oh dear. Can I get a sort of general layout of how the town was? Obviously, this rooftop perch.
I mean, the problem is, you've got a perch, you're able to look around, but it's still fog everywhere.
Okay. We found the roof of a building. Can I look around and see if there's any bigger buildings, possibly, that have been around, and what direction they might be in?
Again, as you look around, you can't see past the fog limits.
Okay, we continue.
I think Webgun will be the first player to quit with frustration.
Vigorously poking the ground with a stick.
As you get along here, you do notice a white void, but try to ignore it if you can.
Okay.
I'm going to do something even more stupid. I'm going to go to one of the corners of the house roof and see if I can use one of my swords just to have a look inside to see if the house is completely flooded or is it actually slightly dry in there.
Yeah,
I'm
as you
picking
try
it
to
up.
angle the reflection enough, you're dangling the lantern. It's a bit of a tough job, but Wolfgang's got the back of your harness, so you're fine at the moment. And you're able to see it's completely clogged up with dirt, vegetation, rot. It's just filled. So no swimming tour, it seems. But you do actually give me an intelligence check. Yeah, that's weird. You think there's something you should be remembering, but it's just kind of going from your... Yeah, you can't really place it.
Okay. Is there any more obvious roofs around, or is it just the one building?
Well, the one you're clumping along right now is actually. It feels like it could have been another roof, but some of it seems to have just been submerged completely. And then, as you get here, you spot this area, technically. I mean, I'll say you get there. It looks like it still seems to have some of its walls to it. This looks like it was a raised sort of town square kind of area. And, as you get onto it... Hang on. What you notice is that in the center of it, right here, is a huge pile of what you think is just moss and vegetation, but it's actually corpses and skeletons. Mostly skeletons just overgrown with moss, just mounds of them. The pile itself must be about 15, 20 foot high. They're all just fallen on top of each other. And at the very top, you can see that there's, unlike the rest which are just covered, just been completely infested, you can see that there's the skeleton of a humanoid figure. It's still pristine though, except for a clump of grass and a few wilted flowers on the ribcage.
I shall do a check for undead, as it were, if I've got a minute, to see if this is possibly the center of my undead sense.
Yeah, this was the one This is the one that hasn't moved at all,
Okay.
and you can tell
I
it's
call
coming.
out.
You can tell it's coming from that skeleton at the top. As for the other
Okay, I'll
signature,
call out.
it's as the other signature that you felt over in the southwest of where you were previously. It's up in the northwest now, and it seems pretty far away at the moment,
Okay.
and it feels like
I
it's
call
getting
out.
further.
Hello there.
Of course.
There is no response.
Well, if it's sentient, it might respond pleasantly. It's
So I know the
possible.
undead. Some of them aren't necessarily evil.
They all deserve to die.
They all
Again.
did.
I know, that's why I said again.
They all should have a proper rest, but they're not necessarily evil.
Oh, we'll see about that. Now, while the mound is pretty damn high, it is also sloped. It'd be a bit of a scramble, but you could get up it. It's not sheer walls of just skeletons.
Hello.
So does Zarzul climb right up?
Is Zazul intelligent? No.
I'm just asking. As you get right up, you can see, yeah, it's a skeleton. It's still pristine looking. You figure it might be elven. It just seems the bones are more narrow. You know, you've not really seen a lot of. We've seen a lot of human skeletons recently, and they've been a bit broader. And still just sitting there. There's still that clump of grass on the chest with the wilted flowers on it, but the skull doesn't move. It's just sitting there. Jaw closed, though.
No response. Is this the undead presence I'm feeling? This top skeleton, as it were?
It's strange. It's not like the skeleton itself is lighting up, but you're getting a sense that that's where the undead presence is. And as you get a little bit closer, you can feel just the air around you. You were already cold and miserable beforehand, but it feels now like you're covered in ice.
Okay.
You
Is
can
there
start
anyone
hearing
here who can? Is there anyone here who can see spirits? Or ghosts or whatever. Rain?
Can I do an arcana
As
check?
Zarzul turns around to look down at you all to ask that question, you see a figure appear. Once I copy paste her. There you go.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, am I in the right layer? Yeah, I am. Yeah, you see a figure appear behind him. A narrow, sort of drawn-in elf figure. Her clothing actually doesn't look too dissimilar from Zarzul's. It just seems like simple leather armor. And she's just looking down there. You can see that there's a great red glow spreading out through her chest. And the spirit itself is tinged with blue.
Can I see her?
Yeah, the moment your head
Now,
starts to
or-
turn, you're able to see her.
I call out in Elvish, "Hello there!"
And in Elvish, she does respond. Why are you trespassing upon the grounds of my protection?
We were sent to try and help remove the swamp. It is Do you know anything of this, good spirit?
Her eyes start to redden as her brow furrows. I defend this land. I died protecting this land, and they want to remove it now.
Good spirit, you obviously have a story. Could you fill me in on what I do not know?
A reminder that you don't have to let the kobold be one who talks.
I was about to say, can I hear what's going on?
I don't speak Elven, so
Yeah,
I'm just,
I'm
you know,
out of here, man.
I'm mostly wondering, can I hear what's going on?
Yeah, you can hear it. She's speaking plainly. I mean,
Alright,
it's got more of an
then
echo
which
to
one
it, but I don't have a sound modulator.
At which point I come up and I ask, of course in Elven, good lady, were you one of the defenders of this town while it was still standing?
Let's see here. Fuck, where did I put her name in the notes?
Get it together, God.
Yeah. No, I'm not God. God is merciful. I'm cutting that shit out.
God is
I'll
not merciful.
find a reasonable sized stone and sit down and try and get some weight off my ankle.
I don't know, what testament are we talking about here? It's like,
No, I'm just picturing the fucking rogue. They're talking to ghosts, and he sits down thinking, oh, that's a load off. Oh, that's nice, as he wiggles his toes. Fuck.
Dude,
meanwhile, how's the wizards feeling?
Better.
he's probably going to join
yeah,
me
you-
trying to find a rock to sit down on. And try
Oh,
and
right,
relax.
I forgot you chugged a healing potion. Yeah,
I
you're fine.
prestidigitate to get as much as the troll draw off me.
But yeah, she does respond. But I was the only defender. They came. The inhabitants ran. I stayed to protect. I stayed. I
Who
protected
came,
everything
dear lady?
here. They never came back.
They might not
was
have
it?
came back, but they sent us.
To
Who
remove
came,
me.
dear? Who came here, dear lady? Who did you defend this place from?
She just gestures down. You can see all the corpses below. Some of them look like ogres, a few resembling orcs. Some are goblins, weirdly enough. But it's just a mound of corpses.
Well done.
I fought them down to the bone. One stabbed me with a poisoned blade, and while I lay there, the town defended. I passed because they never came back. I saved them, and they never came back.
Unfortunately, they could not come back. The land as it is no place for a halfling.
This is how I stay protecting them. That is
So
how
you-
that's how I protect them. And she gestures across to the clump of grass on the chest of a skeleton.
Oh, is that your skeleton, ma'am?
That is where I fell.
You did very well. You can be proud of your accomplishments.
So was it you that has created the swamp around here?
It was Valash.
The
You.
lash?
You partial elf. Step 4.
I like her already.
I go on up on the pile.
Yeah, she looks around the rest of you, especially Castalia. She narrows the eyes on, along with Malgern. She's not inclined to you, but the fact that Zarzul speaks Elvish at least is a pass for him. She just... There's this horrible moment where her hand's moving towards yours, and then she just locks her gaze on you and just says, "Allow it."
I might regret this, but I'm going to allow it.
I'm
Her
going
hand-
to allow this.
Her hand melds into yours. It just passes right in. And you realize now it's not your hand. As she just sort of... As the hand just sort of pulls you towards the clump. And then you see as you get closer to it, your fingertips near, it starts to move and shift. You start to realize it's quite a lot of tangled grass, a lot of wilted flowers, and some of it is thickening, clumping together and rising up. And then your hand wraps around it, and it feels like a lever handle. And as you draw it away, well, as the spirit draws your hand away, it all unfurls and unwraps into a large whip made of soaking tangled grass with dead flowers. And then you have have control of your hand back again. It feels horribly wet and cold. It just feels like you're holding dead plants. It doesn't feel like you're holding anything special, but it's holding together somehow.
Well then,
I examine what she has in her hand to see what it actually is.
I mean, just from a glance, you can see the shape it's taking on as a whip.
well, I slowly start coiling it up like you would a whip, and then I ask, so is this what you use to defend the town?
The town, the countryside, I quested for centuries. And I met my end here, to the praises of no one. She starts to pace
You
around
did-
the top of the plateau of corpses.
You did well, Spirit.
Well-
Your job is done.
Well, first I'm going to ask, what is your name, Spirit?
Orla.
Do you have a last name?
When I began, I did. But how I ended, I don't.
Then I just simply nod and I'll say, I'll make sure that you were remembered.
Well, she is quite well remembered in town, if I remember correctly.
They still speak of me?
Yes, and good spirits, and much praise for your bravery.
I'm thinking back now on the NPC dialogue. Do I make him roll persuasion
Wasn't
or
it in a book?
deception?
I thought that was in one of the books.
I remember being told that she stood against the enemy and defended the town.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Between those couple of beers, I remember.
Lady Tavern Keeper told me a lot when I was talking to her.
So they still remember.
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
do.
Fucking QE brothers. It's just like one person answering there. It's the same voice.
What, you didn't figure out we're twins?
I know you're twins. That's pretty obvious. But it's still tricky to pick out the differences.
Oh, we're gonna make it difficult somehow.
Don't worry, Webgunner's the one with the beard.
Helpful.
Just listen for the rustle of hair every time one speaks.
Listen for one that's scratching his chin too much.
Yeah, I'm stroking my beard.
All right. Whoever wants to convince her that she's still being praised and speaks Elvish, roll persuasion.
I'll
Wow,
try.
To speak Elvish, that would have been priceless.
You'll have assistance, so you have an advantage there. Because I assume Rain is also praising the cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know she
Yes,
wouldn't
this,
do something as simple as smiling, but there is a tension lost in most of her form. They live.
They live
Yes.
and they remember you. Quite fondly.
And yet they said to remove me.
Not
No,
you.
they didn't.
They didn't say to remove you. However, unfortunately, this magic that you use to defend them has started to cause some issues. Namely, now it's not allowing any of the food to be grown, and eventually they'll have to leave entirely if this was not to be cleared.
I had to make it larger to keep it safe. All those
So
years ago.
anything else still here? Just threatening them.
Do you speak Elvish? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you do. Never mind. I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well. Anything that wanders here is a threat to the village. I kept them lost. Kept them wandering.
Do you know if there's much left? We've kind of dealt with a few things on the way here.
Of course, the small one thinks in just today. There's always the year after. The seasons that keep going. But yes, I keep growing as a danger. She looks across at the rest of you, still a little narrow-eyed at the dwarf. And the devil. Sodden Lash is yours. Make it bloom again.
I will.
She slowly starts to walk back to her skeleton. Sitting down, and it's the sort of energy you've seen from Siegfried before, of just sitting down after a very, very long day.
Just time to rest, dear spirit. Your time has been well spent.
And the spirit gradually fades away.
You will be remembered. Okay, who was that? Who was that?
Yeah, that was good. Or persuasion disadvantage. No. No. As you all stand there for a moment, you start to you feel a little bit of warmth going back in your fingertips, and you realize you can now start to see through the fog like it's natural now. It's still thick, it's still hanging there, but it's starting to move and shift. And you just in general feel less damp, less soaked through to the bones. Except for Rain, who feels the damp creeping up her arm as she holds on to this whip.
Well, this is a mild issue.
Can it fit into one of my magical pockets
Yeah,
on my belt?
yeah, it rolls up nicely. In fact, if Rain coils it up and then releases the handle, it just sort of compacts together into a clump of vegetation.
I think I want to try keeping it with me for the current moment.
Because she's
Because
greedy.
No, but she said something about make it bloom again, which makes me think that if we can do something, it can get woken up and not do all this.
Yeah, I think somebody should attune to it.
Yeah,
And,
that's why I'll keep
yeah.
a hold of it.
Make it live again. Bring it forth to the light.
We're gonna make Raxis great again.
Potentially. You already know it's got a wall. Maybe you have to rebuild it. Make the Chaldeans pay for it.
I'm going to ask a stupid question. Who can actually use a whip in this group?
Well, that's the strange thing. Whenever Rain was holding it, it felt comfortable in the hand despite how cold and clammy it was. Everyone is proficient in the use of this weapon as part of its power.
Awesome.
Normal whips are a martial weapon, but this one can be used by anyone.
Okay, I have martial anyway. It's interesting. That's doesn't do a lot of damage. Well, we'll have to get it
Whips are
identified.
mostly meant for battlefield control.
Well, importantly, this is
trips
You
not.
can use them for
disarms.
disarming and things.
Importantly, this is not a
trips and
lever.
disarmament.
This is not a lever whip, however.
It's a magical one.
So keep that in mind. It's a homebrew weapon.
And
Okay.
she did hand it to the half elf.
Well, specifically you, just because you spoke Elven and looked elvish.
Yeah, I always thought you were an elf. Knew it.
Ish.
Don't make me hit you.
That's the point. She spoke Elvish and looked elvish. If you squinted,
That
she
was-
might
that-
pass for an elf. And so you stand there. The place doesn't feel as oppressive or heavy. But it's still a swamp.
As the fog is lifting, I look around for any big, important-looking buildings that might be around.
As
More
the
importantly, can all the dangerous creatures see us now?
you can
the
still you
fog
can only see
lifts,
about
and-
you're only getting starting to get like naturally like 60 feet, then 65 and all, as it's it would take a while for all of this to go away. There's not a lot of wind right now, but you are starting to feel a wind, in fact, in the place.
I also turn off my lantern now. There's no need to have it turned on anymore. I
Yeah,
believe.
now with the lantern off, you can now you're still able to see the same distance. But yeah, as you look around, you realize you're sort of in the center of town. Doesn't seem to be dead center, because you can see to the south there's more clumps of landmass that look like they could have been rooftops. And you can see around you just the remains of a sunken village. It's completely flooded.
Is there any tall buildings that look important? I'm thinking of raiding a building, but yeah.
It's a halfling village. There isn't a single building that's more than a single floor. Most of them were built in the hills that have long been devoured.
Okay, different question. The last undead was northwest, wasn't it, or something?
Yep. You still detect it.
Do you want to clear that one out just to keep the village safe?
Probably. Less undead is good for everybody, right?
Yep, let's deal with this. And before heading out northwest, I bow towards the pile of skeletons and say, "Good journey on your next walk. May it be a long and eventful life."
There is, as you might expect, no response.
As long as the dead don't give a response, it's a good sign.
Yep.
Let's move on. Poking stick, away!
Yeah, as you're trudging through, you realize your feet aren't really sticking into the filth as much as it was before. It's still not easy going, but it feels like there's actual dirt beneath your feet now and again, not just moss and grime. Yeah, let's start revealing. Oh, actually, where's my token? Hang on before you. I suppose I'll have to use this one. I forgot to copy paste this one properly.
I've just made a terrible mistake.
No, it's just I forgot to swap tokens around properly.
I meant to pour myself a drink. I started with rum. and added more rum.
That is the correct kind of rum. If you're going to make a
So
mixed
now
drink,
I've-
double rum is a pretty good one.
Yeah, but I filled the glass with rum.
I'll have a fuzzy navel, and she'll have the girliest drink in the house.
Well, a girl wouldn't have a fuzzy navel. She'd have it shaved first. Yeah, nothing much happens at all until... Just sort of get you guys organized a little bit. Until you get about here. And as the fog continues to dissipate, as the wind starts to pick up throughout, yeah, you go with your perception there. You notice... Ooh, let's see, I need to be on the GM layer for this. I think. Did I put this in the right one? Oh, there we go. You notice free... let's see. Gotta mark it down correctly. Blah. There we go. Against that stone wall there, you can see something that wasn't there the last time you were here. And it's just three small little bumps, each one about the size of an apple, sitting just above the surface of the water.
Okay, is this... can I detect whether this is the undead?
This is not undead.
Okay. Guys, do we actually want to deal with this? This is probably where we get an egg.
No, let's
No.
go around.
Around it is.
But potential.
No.
But what if you could sell off part of it? What if some of it's shiny?
Got,
N-
we've
no.
got a big shiny already. I'm going to ask the
not-
party. I'm going to ask the old party directly before we get too far, much further on. Cornelius,
Yes.
Droop recognized that man, the leader of the Red Guard,
Yes.
whatever he was. Should you let us know some more information about this before we continue?
About the man?
Yes, and about your previous history.
I'm not exactly thrilled about going back into the town that is nothing but his personal guard and
Information.
yes, I know
More
you,
than
Kobold grilling the human. As you look him straight, severely in the kneecap. Tell me your secrets.
Malgun. Answers, possibly?
At which point I look down at the dwarf.
you're not had much options otherwise.
She can always bend her knees.
Screw all of you.
I think you're just asking the right question.
I look at Siegfried. Answers, please?
I believe what he's wanting to know
Is who the
why
fuck
should we be
is.
concerned
Ah,
about this guy?
well, probably because we broke up his old gang and slept in his bed.
You broke up his old gang and slept in his bed.
Right now, you
That's
realize the
about
party
opposite.
sound like the villains.
Does he know you?
Hard to
Has he
say.
seen you?
Well, he's seen him.
Well, there were survivors of the. I do believe there were survivors of the gang. They might have given off descriptions.
Oh dear. Okay. So, should we or should we not try and find him an egg?
I do not believe it would be in our best interest to further anything for him.
That's all you had
So-
to ask.
So, what was he doing before?
A very good question.
A good question you actually know the answer to, but fuck me, it was about a year ago.
Pretty much. Something along the lines of trying to take over a town, maybe?
So, like he's already done here.
If you want a
Well,
bit of
yeah,
help,
but-
you can roll an intelligence save.
An intelligence save.
Well, you're basically calling for help. What the fuck? Yeah, you remember a few things? The Red Brands were a bunch of thugs that were taking control of the town in the absence of any proper authority. You also remember he was trying to make an invisibility potion.
Yes, and he did answer me on that.
They did kill a couple of townsfolk.
And you did kill a bunch of them. At the first meeting.
Oh no, the best part was when you fucking had some in the back of your cart and drove them around town to multiple locations. And then were surprised when they ganged up on you. To no real effect, of course.
See, this is information that would have been useful. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's just what Cornelius remembers. No, that's just what
us.
Cornelius remembers. He might not have told any of the party that.
Well, I tell them this.
There you go. Now you can react.
So generally not a good guy.
Not particularly, no.
But how do you define
Okay,
good, really, apart from the free alignments?
He might also have association with the dark elf. Met him in the mines.
Oh, you know for a fact,
more
he had a letter
information?
from the Black Spider in his study.
What Black Elf?
This a black elf that went as the spider.
The spider.
Yes. Quite a nasty encounter that. He scuttled away quite quick as a spider when I unleashed my wand of magic missile into his face.
As a spider. What did he control? Or command or whatever? What was
Would you have someone called the spider? What would you think he was controlling?
anything like the spiders we encountered before?
Well, not what we saw at the time. Those last one we saw were regular. Well, I would not say regular spiders, but very large spiders.
I know, the sad thing is, it's pretty regular for the world of Faerun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my main question here is, when we've lived out our usefulness, how screwed are we likely to be?
Well, hard to say, since this mercenary gang does not seem like to be acting as thugs yet. So they might, at the moment, still be a proper mercenary company.
Is there I know this may sound strange, a possibility that he is actually okay and it was just members of his thug gang that was being really, really bad and stupid?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I was wondering if they were just the one that we met before was just imposters, but you know, Droop kind of said it was the same one. But how sure were you that Droop was actually correct on that?
Question: has Droop ever given you information before that was mission critical?
Well, he told us where the fort was.
Mostly.
So Droop knows things. Excellent.
Yes.
He did need slight
Let's
correction by
assume
the
Droop
hobgoblin you spared.
Okay. Let us proceed assuming bad things, possibly.
I
Let
have
us
a
leave
better
the egg
question.
and go.
Do we actually need to go back to town, or could we just kind of continue on our actual way that we're supposed to be heading in?
We possibly could, but we might want to try and at least inform them, seeing they don't seem to be too bad at the moment. Have we noticed any sort of overarching thing? Well, once travel gets up and going again shortly, you'll be probably okay. So let's assume that once things move around again, that they won't be so bad.
Well, I might, since you were talking about him having usefulness from our actions, the idea might be that we, that is Malgern, Siegfried, and I stay out of town, and you can report the success. See how if you might try and have some deal with you.
Okay, we shall try this. This
Uh,
sounds good.
I
Try
just
and
have a
mention-
slight. I have a slight issue with this idea.
And
If he does decide that he doesn't like us anymore, then we're going to be split up into smaller groups.
yes, but do remember.
Yes, but we'll be
He
outside
only-
the city.
But do remember,
That where every
he
rogue
only
character-
has issue. He only has issue with us. He
Ah,
doesn't
but
necessarily.
we're traveling with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Do mention that you are tired of traveling with us.
That'll be persuasion, not
Well,
deception.
also the group may be a slightly different makeup, so he may not recognise us as the same group. Hopefully, we shall
Well,
we,
that's-
we shall give this a go. Possibly.
It sounds to me like we should just not provoke the memory at all.
Yeah, by having different people there, we may be okay.
Yeah.
Let us head back to town, covering said snail. Hopefully, probably not.
So just be cautious, but not overly concerned.
Yes, let us go around the three eyeballs on the swamp. Let us not interrupt that thing and pass by.
All right.
Try and lead them well around the three things on the.
Yeah, I figured you're just gonna go back the path you went.
Aren't we still looking for the last undead?
Surprise! All the things you killed are back now.
No, I think once the swamp starts disappearing, the undead will move on. Possibly, we shall move on.
And there wasn't much there, anyways.
Now there are 2 flail snails.
Just wondering if the kobold understood the lesson
finally
there.
went, fuck these halflings.
Okay, from here, how far away is the undead?
From here, it is in fact only 80 or so feet away, directly to the west. In fact, you'd be able to see it by now. It is, despite the token, a human shape. It is staggering and slumping around like a zombie, but it's wearing the uniform of the Red Guard.
Okay.
Let's go clear that and see if he's got anything on him that we might find useful.
I can't see it. Never mind.
No, you can. You can.
No, because remember he has the hood on.
Yeah, I
Oh.
got 60 foot of range.
Ah, you're
I
wearing
can't
the
see
hood.
squat.
You know
Way to
which
go,
direction
man.
it is.
Is it bright daylight now, or is it
Yeah,
still
yes,
sleep?
you guys went in here at about 8 o'clock. It's probably now about past noon.
Okay, so did the rest inform me of this wonderful little skeleton run?
Well, I mean,
around?
you already know it's there. You sensed it.
I kind of mentioned there's a skeleton to him.
Okay.
Well, no, you
so we
know
got
it's
one-
there because of your undead senses. You can't see it, but you know it's there.
Yeah, I know general direction and
Yeah.
what it is. Okay, cool.
Well, I move
Okay.
up to 80 feet and then fire my crossbow at it. So I gotta go 15 feet closer.
Okay, so we're dead set on killing this thing. Excellent.
Yes.
Yep, I move to there and fire my crossbow. Quick question: does it sense me?
It does not. It doesn't. It seems to be moving erratically. So yes, you have advantage.
I
Are we
don't
sure?
think I can.
Are we sure it's undead?
There's a
Very.
skeleton and it's moving. What do you
Okay.
think?
No, it's a it's a fleshed humanoid figure. It's just I only had that token handy.
So,
Okay, we're dealing with more zombie side things.
by the power of deduction, yes, it is undead.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it's not a really drunk guy who accidentally wandered in.
With that,
Oh no, that's Siegfried.
the bolt funks into the head, and it falls to the ground.
Okay.
So
Roll
Well done.
initiative.
I'm going to go over and see if he had anything on him that might be of interest to us.
The grand heroes go to loot the body.
That's why we call us
Trying to find out.
That's why we call them adventurers, not heroes. All right, everyone, stop.
Oh,
I,
that's what I figured.
that's, I,
Let's just remove this little token. Because as Rain approaches the creature, she steps
Sorry
on.
again, guys. God damn it.
It doesn't move for a moment, but its body does. Everything under the skin starts to move and stir.
Oh, is this gonna be one of my favorite monsters?
And rot grubs burst out from nearly every part of the flesh, wriggling, writhing. It's a mass of worms
So
out of this
fucking
zombie
Pokemon.
body.
Nightmare Before Chris got it.
Where's my statue?
Oh, and it rolled a 0 for initiative. Sweet.
Haven't rolled it yet. Where's me?
No, it says right here 0.
Ow.
It loses.
That was my toe. Alright.
Yeah, look at all those low rolls. Just getting them out of
That's
the way.
great. I love that. Okay, let's see. 1d20. Oh, straight. Oh, nice. Isn't that great?
I don't know. I still see it. Oh, fuck you.
So, it does get a surprise attack, however.
I would like to point out I'm still not on the roll list yet.
Are you still not on there? Hang on, I'll add you.
No.
And you failed.
There you go, you can stick yours in.
There we go.
Look at that, just one short. You almost could have beat it. But yeah, it gets a surprise attack on Rain as she leans down and the worms start bursting out. So let's see here, which was... Okay, it's not on the swamp sheet. There we go, it's in the Grateful Undead.
So, we're all the way over here. This is
Yes, you
difficult
are.
Terrain. And they're over there.
Yeah. Great,
you
isn't it?
should have followed.
As the claws lash out. 25.
That would hit me, so
Yeah,
we're just going to assume it hits.
Yeah.
You take 8 slashing and 8 necrotic damage. It also attacks again.
Crap.
This time not at advantage, it only gets the 1.
This is what you get for communing with the swamp.
19.
Oh, that hits too, yeah.
Alright, 8 and 6. And then, one of the worms is going to try and leap at you. So it's a dex save.
Oh, in that case... Da.
And you just manage to dodge aside as this worm lands beside you. Writhing fitfully and still active. Alright, top of the round. Wolfgang. Oh, we're actually going to overrun. Do we leave this as a cliffhanger?
I think we could manage to handle this before.
Oh,
Yeah.
cockiness. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Good.
That's
By
a
the way,
random
it still
movement.
counts as difficult terrain, except for Zarzul and Wolfgang,
Okay.
because of your ranger advantages, because it extends to your familiar, yeah? Yeah. This is
I
no
think
longer
so.
this is no longer a magical swamp. This is just a swamp.
Yep, there we go. It's a full run.
Okay.
Wolfgang is trying.
Cornelius.
Trying to move a bit closer. I guess still only have 3.
Yeah. It's still horrible going.
Uh,
But it feels less dangerous at least. You know, apart from that thing.
okay, so let's see. What do I have that could be shot at it? Oh yeah, I can shoot a firebolt at it. Would I be able to hit it from here, or would I need to?
It would have a
move
little
bit
higher
up?
AC, but yeah, you'd still be able to hit it. We could be getting partial cover from rain there, blocking it. But it's not disadvantaged, so. $15 is a hit. Just. As you light it up, several of the worms fall out of its face and start to writhe. And it's the spawn's turn again.
Oh yeah, you got a surprise attack.
Yeah, got a
It's like,
surprise
wait, what?
attack because she just reached down the corpse. It's going to
Oh,
attack
Wait
twice.
a minute. Wait a minute. Just
Only-
noticed something.
Only one hit.
Something wrong, Cornelius?
Yeah, sorry, I have forgotten that since I'm 5th level. I
Oh, it's
actually get to
2d10
do
now.
another- Yeah, it's 2d10.
That's weird. Did you remember to change it on your sheet? Like your actual level on the sheet?
No, I didn't do it. So
Yeah, that
it's
should
only
do
a
it for your
roll
spells.
one.
Well, roll an extra d10.
I just take this one again. So yeah. Oh
There we
wow,
go.
that's full damage this time.
Yeah, nice. He's trying to make up for the worms yesterday. So that's one hit. That's 15 damage.
Ow.
And again, the worm on the ground is going to try and leap at you.
Nope.
You have to roll DC 11.
you gotta roll a
dex
save.
Oh yeah.
What do you?
Duh.
What is this god modding?
The worm is now on
yeah,
you.
Dodge.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, you got a friend now.
Yeah, you got a worm of Kios on you. It's your turn now.
Well, that's glorious because I'm going to heal the crap out of me.
Gonna heal this so hard.
All right,
Crap.
11 points. That's pretty good still. It's not terrible.
Not what I was hoping for.
Everything is
Yeah.
terrible. This is D&D.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Do I have anything? Nah, because I cast a spell, so there's nothing else I can do. I don't think.
You could walk away.
Oh, that's a horrible idea. No, no,
Just
no,
walk
no, no,
away.
no, no.
No,
You could try and brush the worm with you. but
That was an
it starts
action.
Digging in.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's an action, not a bonus.
Yep.
So I'm probably just gonna holler back at the wolf and go, "Oi, help me, please!"
Oi, help me, please. It hurts.
Come here, Pufflesworth.
And Rain, at the end of your turn, you take 1 piercing damage.
Ow.
your worm buddy hurts.
And as you look down to where the bite might be, you don't see the worm.
Crap.
Malgurin, your turn's up.
Well, this sucks. I guess if I use a dash, I can use my full movement, right? That would be 6 squares.
Yep.
Uh,
You could try and leap.
Can you jump further?
oh yeah. I mean, how does? Yeah, I can leap, right? I've written down how those boots work.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Jumping is a weird one. I'd say you'd be able to get half your distance, really. And then you'd be able to get a few more squares of normal walking.
Okay. About half my distance.
Well, no, as in half your normal distance. So you get the 15. See, or,
Okay.
what am I talking about?
Yeah.
No, well, you're... fuck's sake. That.
I can move.
Yeah, I'm
I can
mangling
move
this.
6
I meant you'd get half of your dash movement, so you get your 30 with a jump,
Yeah.
and then you'd be able to do 3 more squares.
Oh. So I would get.
So you get 6 squares.
No, you get 9 squares.
Oh, 9. Okay.
6.
Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that would be your jump.
Yeah.
And then 3 more would put you here.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me an athletics check anyway, just to see.
Yeah, of course.
Anything but abject failure will work. Now here's the thing. 1s aren't a critical miss at this table. This digital table. But that was still below the DC by 1.
What the God damn it.
So, as you land here, you unfortunately slide back through the sludgy grime into the
Yeah,
water, but then manage to
That's
step
what
out.
I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Has-
You managed to
hasn't
step
that happened
stomp
to me
out.
already? Didn't I fall into the swamp? I need to...
You
Fuck these
jumped
boots,
into
man.
it the first time.
Yeah. Ugh, I had a fucking 19 out of 20 chance.
Yep.
Nope.
Zarzul, your turn is up.
Okay, I'm going to use my bonus action to raise my hood so I can actually see what I'm looking at.
You can see, and the sun. Ow.
Yep, and it's I'm still at normal.
Yep, because you got a buddy
It's
there.
better than what it could be. Yep. I'm going to mark the target. I may as well.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to fire an arrow to try and assist our good healer.
And you roll a 1 and hit the healer.
I know.
Hopefully. Sadly, he hits. Give me your damage. So that's 13. And what's your mark
I'm
damage?
moving around it.
1. I mean, it's a pretty solid hit as you spear through several worms, which have... The arrow really has to dig down to actually get to the zombie underneath. It's such a thick amount of maggots and squirming worms. Anything else from you?
I'm going to move forward.
Alright, you're able to move your full 30. For you are a ranger, and mundane difficult terrain does not affect you. Siegfried.
Okay.
I'm going to use my bonus action to dash.
Okay. As you squelch along.
Which means I get up to there. And I stab at the...
I mean, that's the sentence. You stab at V.
I stab at something.
That hell's hard. You stab at V. Here's the great thing. Even without advantage, which you didn't have anyway, 11 is enough. 17 as you shank down into it. It's honestly quite unpleasant as you start to drive the sword in, because it's just so many fucking maggots are falling out around you as you do so.
Yeah, let's see. That's all my moves and actions I can do.
Okay. Castalia.
Well, I get to spend my turn walking.
I mean, you got Eldritch Blast.
10 squares is actually really far.
Hmm.
Oh wait, it's 100 feet. Wait, no, it's not 100 feet. How far was it again?
Yeah.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I'm not sure if it's 100 feet or it's only with a particular invocation.
Well, let's have a look. It's in the compendium.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now.
Eldritch Blast in the spells bit, and 120 feet is the range.
Oh, very nice. So I actually can hit it.
Yep, same as Firebolt.
Oh, I'm moving forward 3. Max I can move, and gonna shoot my lasers. That up, and there it is. Laser 1, which hilarious. Double 1, snake eyes, and laser 2.
That's a hit.
So I
Roll
want
me
to
a
point out that
d20.
that's 3 1s in a row. Jesus.
Yep, roll
Or
me
no, Siegfried shot first. So no. But
a
damn.
d20.
Oh, alright.
Mm-hmm. For a miss.
Lot of
15.
fucking 1s all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's a bad miss. But luckily, it doesn't go near Rain or Siegfried. I assume that's your turn?
Yep.
Hulfgang.
Wolfgang.
Hulfgang. Yes.
Wolfgang looks back at the red one and the sight of suspicion, looking at its tail, just noticing a few scorched hairs.
If you
Decides
want
to move forward anyway. And we bite.
Yep.
We bite with great fury. 22.
Clear hit, and it falls prone.
And 9 piercing.
9 piercing. Cornelius.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of people now around it, and it's prone. Getting a shot off, bit tricky.
Yeah, I do have spell sniper, so it says that half cover and 3/4 cover is ignored.
Oh, you should have mentioned that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're still at disadvantage, however, if you want to fire off, because it's prone.
Well, it's not like I can do much else, so firebolt it is.
Yep. Still a hit. And that's the correct damage. So, yep.
Yep.
You ignite it. There's not much left of this thing. Most of the area's been bloodied, bruised, and beaten and scraped of the worms. You're starting to see hollow zombie parts now.
I'm gonna remove 3 just in case.
But it's still going. And so it stands. And it lashes out. Let's see. It's going to lash out first at the dog, who knocked it over. 17. Is that a hit in the wolf?
Is a lovely number.
Web gun?
The dog's still up.
No, I mean, is that a hit?
17. 16 armor. Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, right. Because I don't know what your AC's off by heart yet. Alright, so that's 13 damage total it takes. So I'm going to lash out.
Really high, just go with it.
I'm going to lash out at Siegfried.
And I'm going to use my reaction to uncanny dodge or whatever it is to halve the damage.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be 7 total. And then a maggot comes leaping for you. Let's give me a dex save. You usually manage to stand aside as it just flies past you. Rain, your turn is up. This
Well,
thing
that's
is barely
magical.
lingering.
Well, in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to smack it with a hammer. Well, no, I'm not.
No, you're not. That's a very low AC, but not that low.
Okay then. Well, I'm not. So, let's see. So Siegfried over there, my good old buddy, is gonna get one of the. Oh, wait, no, oh no, that's one action. Never
Yep.
mind. I thought I had one that wasn't. Oh well.
You get Shield of Faith. Well, you don't know if you have it
What?
equipped yet, but I think that's a bonus.
Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it in my cantrip. No.
Okay.
So never mind.
Oh man, Shield of Faith was so good. Pushes
No,
my
it's
AC
a
up to-
it's a spell.
Yeah, I don't have it in my cantrips, and I don't have it in my books.
Okay.
So what good are you?
F off.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right. It burrows deeper. You take 7 points of necrotic
Ow.
damage as you feel this thing creeping through your arm, devouring as it goes.
Oh.
As you look down, you can see a bump on your sleeve now.
That's a
it's-
no-no.
It's like that movie, The Mummy. We got to get him out. Oh man. It's gonna be
Before it
great.
reaches the brain.
You don't need your head.
Oh,
Right?
oh, that
right,
is what
Rain?
I'm worried about. I'm worried it's going to go somewhere I don't want it.
Yeah. I mean, inside you is always the correct answer of I don't want it to be there. And too late, it's there. Mulgern, you're up.
Okay.
It's weird. The zombie didn't claw at her, but she seems in pain. Well, she's half elf, which means she's half wuss.
And Malgern is done. I'm very dangerous over short distances. Fortunately, this wasn't a short distance.
You could always give a try at a disadvantage tosser throw.
Oh yeah, I can. That's
Yep.
60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well within that.
Yeah, I think the minimum. I think the minimum range is 20. Yeah, should be 2060. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, 2060.
So you're at disadvantage, but you know what the hell? That's a clear hit, even with a partial cover. As you just smack into it,
I do
and
a thing.
it falls, writhing for a moment, and then stops. A few of the worms scatter and dive into the water.
I didn't hear the magical words that we were. Okay, never mind.
Yep, combat is
I was
over.
like, I didn't hear the magical words. Waiting for something to happen.
Well-
And Ray might want to cast some magic on her. I'm gonna start casting fire on her arm to get
I
the thing
don't.
out.
Because casting heal, I don't think will help me very much because it's just going to keep burrowing. It's not
okay,
going to get rid of it.
don't worry, I got this. I'm gonna reach for my boot knife.
Well, actually, that's the thing. As I was going to grab out my dagger and see if I stabbed my arm, if that would work.
Doesn't
Excellent.
it count as a disease or something?
It does.
It does. If it does, then I
Yeah.
got something for that.
It
I'm
burrows
pretty sure.
deeper.
Because you kind of don't want to stab it when it's in your arm and have a nice maggot corpse in your arm.
Yeah, you might want to do something quickly before it kills you.
Time's ticking.
Well, yeah, I know.
Lisa
I'm looking for
restoration or whatever it is.
I'm looking for the spell in the thing. That's my problem. I don't remember which spell it is.
If you want to try the dagger approach, I'm all for it.
Oh no!
Oh, the dagger approach will kill me.
If
so...
she dies, it doesn't count.
This
Doesn't put a notch on your belt.
is this the spell that I want? Yes, it is. Let me click that. No, I'm
I
gonna click on it.
mean, it can't crawl deeper if I just hack the arm off for you. It'll grow back, right? No, clerics can't do that.
There is this moment where you wait. You can see like along your arm. There's this horrible deepening bruise. It's just spreading, and the pain's still there, but it doesn't worsen. You don't feel the crunch of arriving. Your arm
While they're
feels
doing that, I'm
horrible.
looking for the one that jumped at me to squish it.
You find it easy enough. Actually, it does give him an AC, so roll for it.
I'm gonna clear the area. Cornelius, you know what to do.
Jeff Patton.
You
Just
just
let
managed to
on
hit it with
fire,
its AC
please.
of 6. And you've done 11 times. Well, no, you've done 22 times its HP.
I
Good.
love the fact that it has an AC. That's amazing.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to do one of these because I'm almost dead.
Aw.
They also give it a movement speed of 1 foot. But the spawn of Kios, which is what this monster was, can compel them to jump.
Ah.
Yeah.
That would explain the leaping.
Yep.
Is
Well-
there any more around that we need to worry about?
A few splashed off into the water, but
I'm not
noticing
going in
a theme
there.
here. That keeps happening.
Blink! I'm moving over here away from the water. And then I'm going to recheck the stupid dead thing.
alright, give me an investigation as you try to push around with one arm. The one the worm got into does not feel good right now, and neither do you. I mean, you rifle through it a bit, you sort of pull off, and then you pull off the mask, and then you just realize, why did I do that? Because it's just, the face is concave, it's just been hollowed out. It was a nest for worms, and it's just falling apart. You start to look. You start to pat down the belt. Of course, you listen for anything jingling, and you manage to pluck out what was probably his wages or something. It's 2 silver coins and free copper.
Okay, well, I'll take that. And then at that point, I kind of give up and I go, okay, guys, somebody else can give it a go.
Yeah, there's this horrible moment as you lean back, the body just collapses in on itself without the supporting worms.
Okay. Cut time. It is headed back. The undead is slain. I'll just do a quick curiosity check just to make sure all the undead are actually gone. So it's possibly the will-o'-wisps.
Well, you don't feel any in the swamp, but as you look over at Rain, you also don't sense any from her.
Nice.
It
Oh,
seems
that's
that this
Rain.
place is clear.
Good. Good news, Rain. You're not undead. I won't kill you.
Oh, goody. I'm thrilled.
As you just look down at your arm and it's starting to turn a horrible sort of blackened bruise, just spreading along the whole underside of it.
I
I
can cut
cast
that thing off free of charge.
I cast a cure. A cure wounds.
Oh, good.
Here, have another 12.
And so we'll
I
leave
shake
off
my
for
head
now.
and start hobbling it back to the cart.
Yeah, the unhealed ankle.
Yeah. Your leg doesn't work. Her arm doesn't work.
Yeah,
Great.
bit by bit I'll take you fuckers apart.
We're
Next
testing
up,
out
someone's
lingering
losing an
injury,
eye.
He said.
Actually, how long before this becomes a permanent injury for me?
For you, no, it's going to heal. It's just... It'll heal faster if they put on a few spells. That's all. Like, it's just...
I
It's
was
a
about to
bad
say-
sprain, but you're not resting on it, so... It needs the magic if it wants to heal up well.
Is mine gonna be fine shortly too, or is it just one of those really
Yeah, yours
bad
is just...
bruises?
Yours is just internal bleeding, which is where the blood's meant to be anyway, so you're fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's just a little internal bleeding. You're fine.
No, that'll heal up fine enough.
Glad you're not a doctor, Corvus.
I am, so long as no one asks me for my certificate.
Yeah.
He's a doctor in the same way that Dr. Mario is a doctor.
Yep, just call me Dr. Feelgood.
Picture Zoidberg. You know. I will get him right in the gonads.
And a famous doctor with many living patients.
Now open your mouth. No, your other mouth.
I want the satisfaction of chopping here. I'm here in the gonads.
Nobody correct him.
But yeah. And now the party heads off and out of the swamp. Out of the horrible bog that almost killed a couple of them. Get you fuckers. They may have done a good thing. Possibly. Maybe. Of course, we're at that battle. Rain not once used that whip. But during
So
the
that
journey, if
was-
you keep a hold of it, you will attune to it.
Good.
We
I was about to say
also have
I
a
wasn't going to
crossbow,
attune
if I
to it
remember
when.
correctly. What happened to that?
And you'll find out what happens next time. Ah, boy. So yeah, next week, another session. We'll see what happens to the party. And what's special about the whip. But for now, I'll cut the stream. Potentially might fire up a game after this. Not sure. Might take a break at least. But for now, we're done with D&D. Rescue within Raxis.